And we keep it in the state of Texas. Welcome inside the Alamo Dome here in San Antonio for the 2004 MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Year 12 of this game, year 10 of the Big 12 against the Big 10. The MasterCard Alamo Bowl matchup tonight. The Oklahoma State Cowboys 7-4 out of the Big 12, and the Ohio State University Buckeyes also 7-4, ranked number 22 in the country as the Big 10 gets to join the bowl parade. We welcome you to San Antonio. Mike Tirico, Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, Jill Arrington down on the sideline. We'll see her in a little bit. I think it's going to be a fun game. As you know, Ohio State has had its starting quarterback in their stretch where they won 4 of the last 4 suspended. Troy Smith's not here. That means Justin Zwick starts. He's played, but Kirk, it's been 10.5 weeks since he's taken a snap on the field.
Yeah, Mike, it's a long layoff for Justin to have to deal with, but at the same time, at least he does have some game experience to be able to rely on and go back to. I think it'll settle him down. The key for Justin tonight is finding his confidence early in this football game, and talking to him throughout the preparation here in San Antonio, he sounds like he's excited to have the opportunity. The interesting thing is this is a completely different looking offense from the day he left the starting lineup against Iowa. It was more of a ball control, eye formation offense. Now it's spread. They'll continue the spread offense even without the versatility of Troy Smith, and I think that'll help Justin out.
Speaking of offense, Oklahoma's offense has been red hot. They've scored 35 points against 2 really good BCS teams, Oklahoma and Texas, and they do it with the run. They average 245 yards running. Their key guy is number 33, Vernon Morrissey. Now, Morrissey has scored 12 touchdowns, 1,400 yards rushing. Then after the play action, over the top to number 84, DeJuan Woods. If I were coaching Oklahoma State, that's what I'd do. I'd run, try to get a couple of quick ones on the Buckeyes, because the Buckeyes defense is very, very good.
And the Buckeyes can score quick with a guy playing offense and special teams. More on him down to the surface of the dome. And good evening to Jill Arrington.
Hi, well, thanks, Mike. Freshman Ted Ginn Jr., he's been the highlight machine for Ohio State. He has led the resurgence in the second half of the season as a punt returner and a wide receiver. He's had 40 touches, 7 touchdowns. Now, 5 of those were 50 yards or more. That's an amazing stat that's given him a lot of confidence. He told his teammates coming into this game, just get him to punt the ball and I'll do the scoring. Now, Oklahoma State knows what he can do, but Coach Les Miles told me he's not afraid. They're going to punt the ball to him. They're ready to play some ball. Mike, back to you.
When he gets it in his hands, he is something special, Jill. A sellout crowd on hand here in San Antonio as Oklahoma State returns to this bowl game for the first time since 1997. Ohio State has never been here. The Buckeyes won the toss, deferred the option to the second half. Cowboys get the ball first, and that means the Buckeye fans chant Nuge for Mike Nugent, the senior kicker out of Centerville, Ohio. He's the best kicker in the country. He's the best kicker in college football in a while. All-American on every All-American team, and he won the Lou Groza Award. Here are 7-4s. Buckeyes kick to the Cowboys, and off we go from San Antonio. And the big leg of Nugent, apparent right there. Oklahoma State will start it from the 20-yard line. Their quarterback is Donovan Woods. He's a redshirt freshman out of Oklahoma City and Millwood High School. Lee talked about the wide receiver, DeJuan Woods. This is his younger brother. It's a family that has made a great impact on this program. Rashawn Woods, a terrific receiver who left last year, now off in the NFL with the San Francisco 49ers. There is DeJuan, the sophomore, second team, all Big 12. These guys running a lot, folks. They ran an average of 51 times a game this year. 12 more than the average in Division I college football. So for the first play, how about a little fake option? And look underneath to the tight end, Billy Badgema. Stopped at the 25 by a terrific senior corner for the Buckeyes, Weston Fox. Here are the starting lineups along with Woods. Vernon Morrissey, we're going to talk about his name in a minute. Special guy, carried it 250 times this year. Willis, a very important blocker. Woods, Mack, and Badgema, an academic All-American as well. Up front, you got to change here. The right tackle, Kellen Davis, has a concussion, so we're going to see less of him, and the right tackle spot could become a question mark. We saw Sam Mays there, the right guard. He is from Ohio. Always wanted to be a Buckeye. Wasn't. He's first team all Big 12. A senior playing his final game tonight. 2 plays, 2 throws. Well, he'll keep it, run it, and get the first down at the 31-yard line. Anthony Schlegel made the tackle. A pickup of 6. All right, here's the Buckeye defense. Simon Frazier, the senior, playing his final game of the Scarlet and Gray with Patterson, Pitcock, and Kuba. Boy, did they play well second through the fourth quarter against Michigan. The linebackers, A.J. Hawk is special. Schlegel's pretty darn good. Carpenter's good. Linebackers make plays on the Buckeyes. What else is new? The corners. Dustin Fox already made a play. Ashton Yabodi has come on, and he's become a shutdown corner with Sally and Whitner, the safeties, for Jim Tressel's team. Another play-action pass for Woods. Intercepted by Carpenter. I told you their linebackers make plays. First big play of the game for the Buckeyes.
Ohio State showed pressure, and an outstanding play here by Bobby Carpenter. He's lined up to the line of scrimmage. There you see at the top of your picture, he drops back into coverage. Donovan Woods doesn't recognize that, and he put it right into the chest of the linebacker.
Now, one thing very important about this, Bobby Carpenter's play, was the fact that you notice how he caught the football? He caught it just like a beautiful tight end. Hands, eyes, perfect combination by Bobby Carpenter right there.
Also very interesting, Lee, you touched on how they have to throw the ball, but they have to establish the run first.
That's it.
To go to the pass there. They're just trying to break tendencies with their first series.
A rare turnover leads to a first down run for the Buckeyes, and Brandon Joe, who gets the start. He does not get back to the original line of scrimmage. Joe starts with the tailback for the Buckeyes. Well, here's Justin Zwick. Hurt his shoulder, separated it against Iowa, the throwing shoulder. That was October 16th. The snap he just took was the first one he's at the beginning. He won the starting job, so there is confidence in Jim Tressel in his quarterback. However, how is he going to do in this new shotgun offense? When they get the shotgun and put Teddy right next to the quarterback.
Also, remember one thing. When he was in there, they were losing.
Right.
The last time he was playing, they were losing, though.
They've experimented with a lot of formations, and Teddy Ginn right now in the backfield.
Zwick fakes and throws complete. It's going to be down to the 23-yard line. Jamie Thompson will come up with the tackle of Ginn. Let's check that Ohio State backfield. We'll see some of Maurice Hall. That tailback spot has been disappointing for the Buckeyes. That's why Brandon Joe's going to be back there a little bit. Santonio Holmes caught 50. Teddy Ginn is as fast as anybody you've ever seen in football cleats. Ryan Hamby's a tight end. Up front, these guys have tightened it up a little bit. Been pretty good. Sims, Downing, Mangold from Centerville, Ohio, Mike Nee, and Kirk Barton across the front. Third down here for the Buckeyes, 3rd and 5. Can they take advantage of a rare Oklahoma State turnover? Ginn's in motion. Zwick's looking his way. It was covered for Gonzalez. Touchdown, Ohio State.
Could not have scripted a better start, not only for the team, but for Justin Zwick to create a turnover against a #1 team in the country in turnover margin and get the football in great field position for Justin Zwick after such a long layoff. Now he's got his confidence here early in his football game going.
Movement up front, and we'll have a retry, or we never had a try. Well, the walk-off assessed here. Our neutral conference officials come from the Mountain West, and Gerald Wright leads this fine crew.
Well, they're going over this officials situation. Ted Ginn Jr. was used as a decoy that time. Wait till we show it to you after the commercial. They set him out short. The corner jumped on him, and Gonzaga's got a touchdown.
Offside. 96 defense. After this is the goal. Try.
And Lee, we'll talk about that throughout the broadcast. The emergence of Tony Gonzalez along with Teddy Ginn at receiver gives this Ohio State offense a completely different look compared to where they were at the beginning of the year.
Well, they went against a trend there because of the fact they thought Ginn was going to get the ball. They jumped him. Touchdown.
Nugent adds the extra point, ties Dan Stoltz second on the all-time Ohio State scoring list. The emergence of Anthony Gonzalez, the freshman, has been a big part of the season for the Buckeyes. 3+ grade point average. Great speed, too. Second touchdown of the year. Boy, has to feel good for Justin Zwick. Back in the lineup, back in the end zone. Buckeyes score first. Great hospitality on the Riverwalk once again, with a great atmosphere as well, as a lot of Oklahoma State fans made the drive, and many Buckeye fans here throughout the week. Ohio State takes advantage of the 8th turnover in 656 snaps for Oklahoma State. That's an astonishing. They turn it over once every 80 snaps. Gives the Buckeyes the early lead, and another Nugent touchback will give the Cowboys a long field. Lee and Kirk take us through the Buckeye touchdown to Anthony Gonzalez.
This is a well-designed play by Jim Bowman, the offensive coordinator. If you watch number 7 at the top of your picture, Gwynn, he gets up there and he stops. Now, by doing that corner, jumps him, Kirk, and that allows Gonzalez to be open.
The thing that I'm impressed with is Tony Gonzalez, the way he's emerged here. Look at the speed of Tony Gonzalez, the way he separates away from the safety. Lee, it's a big void out there with the corner up, but Tony Gonzalez emergence and the speed. Teddy Ginn gets all the attention. You throw Santonio Holmes and Tony Gonzalez in there, that's a heck of a trio with a lot of speed.
That Robert Jones, the corner jumped Ginn, must have been a scouting report that showed they liked that play.
See if they go back to their bread and butter.
Run it.
They did 50 times again. Ohio State was ready for it. Sophomore Quinn Kincock, who has really become a very good player as this season has gone on, stops Orange, a loss of 5.
What happens in some of these bowl games with such a long layoff, you work so hard in preparing that you want to try to take a few chances early. And that's what happened to Oklahoma State in their first series. Now they're going back to the basics. And Mike, you're right. Pitcock, his quickness on the inside, I think, is what makes him such a unique player. This defense so far, the confidence they gained in that Michigan game, we're seeing here in the early going.
And he beat Koenig, who came into the lineup, the freshman, their shuffle up front. Watch that left guard spot as the night goes on. Officially a loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Woods' throw is hauled in by Prentice Elliott, and he dropped it. Yeah, they came right back up to him. I thought he dropped it the first time, and he did. Elliott is a speedster as well. He averages 18 yards a catch.
Played some shortstop, it looks like. It's high school playing days.
That's not even good in arena football, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Canada, arena, indoor, outdoor.
90.
Again, 5 plays, and they've thrown the football 4 times. If you want a barometer, Oklahoma State has got to try to reach 200 yards rushing. This year, when they've been able to get over 200 yards rushing, they're 6-0. When they've not gotten to that point, they're 1-4. This is a football team that has to establish the run and then go to the pass.
Buckeyes rush 4. Donovan Woods rolls, room to run, but he's not going to get the first down. Out of bounds, 6 yards shy, and here comes a punt, and that means here comes Ted Ginn Jr. Ted Ginn Jr. this year, special. 4 punt returns for touchdown, tying an NCAA record. If he returns one more at some point in his Ohio State career, he's going to be the Big Ten all-time record holder. Tim Dwight, now with the San Diego Chargers, the great Iowa Hawkeye, took back 5. Speed, moves. He ran like a 4-flat 40 when he got high gear against Michigan in their annual get-together in Columbus this year. It's a very good kicker kicking to him in Cole Farden. Picking away, and there's the Ginn impact. Even though he never touches the ball, Farden was trying to angle it, and one of the better kickers in the Big 12 missed it. The kick was only 17 yards.
And Oklahoma State's got to be very, very careful they don't let this game get out of line, because you know the Ohio State defense has allowed only 21 points once in the last 5 games. I'm telling you, these guys can play defense, and if they jump on you enough, it's all over, sweetheart.
Quite a start for Jim Tressel's team. Chris has taken the Buckeyes to BCS Bowls the last couple of years, winning the national championship in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl over Miami in 2002. Right back to Tempe last year, and a victory over Kansas State. First and 10 for the Buckeyes. Brandon Joe is the lone back. The fullback Schnitger is on the wing, close to you. Zwick, 5 options to throw. It's deep. It's Teddy Ginn. Flag, pass interference. 15 yards, and the Buckeyes will have it to the Cowboy 26. Junior Daniel McLemore is flagged.
Again, this is a true freshman. Reggie Bush is the difference maker of college football. Devin Hester is up there, and Teddy Ginn. Every time they're involved, every time they have a chance to make a play, look at him just go right by the defensive back with that speed.
And remember, Daniel McLemore is in there because Williams is out and been suspended, and they went right at him. That's good, I mean, really good scouting right there, Mike.
Guys, Ted Ginn hasn't touched the ball. 17-yard punt because of Ted Ginn, 15-yard penalty because of Ted Ginn.
32 yards moving forward. That's
and Lee showed you on the touchdown pass, they bit on the out with Ginn and opened up that side for Gonzalez as well. So they haven't touched the ball yet, and it's on their minds.
I would think so.
They told us first thing they want to do is recognize where 7 is on the field at all times.
Here comes Brandon Joe pounding it forward to the 22-yard line against an Oklahoma State defense that's given up 24.5 points per game. Check them out up front. Darnell Smith and Marquis Fountain are their ends. Fountain had 1 sack with the top defensive line tackler, with Mowerin and Cole in the middle. They play a 4-2-5. Lawrence Pinson and Paul Duran. Hokies are the junior linebackers. And Lee talked about the secondary issue that they have.
Yeah.
Derek Williams, their best corner, is suspended. He's a senior. He's done at Oklahoma State. So Robert Jones and Daniel McLemore man the ends in the 5 backs. On second down, Zwick throws on the run. He had a wide open Ryan Hamby and just couldn't settle. And Zwick pulling his left hamstring here.
Pull a hamstring.
Reaching towards it. And obviously there's a big quarterback issue with the Buckeyes. They have no backup who has played. And what we were told, and look at Zwick, he's coming towards the bench here. Todd Beckman is the true freshman. He has not played. They don't want to burn his red shirt. For the moment, Ted Ginn is probably going to take the snap at quarterback here, guys.
This is part of a package in preparation for this bowl game that they were aware of. They were going to use this package regardless. Teddy Ginn taking a shotgun snap was going to happen tonight no matter what. It's going to be interesting to see what they do from this point on.
And it's going to be a run with Ginn. Trying to use that speed to the edge, running them out to the 19. The ball boy or manager for Oklahoma State who was knocked down is okay. Ginn is shy of the first down. And the Buckeyes will have a field goal opportunity coming here as they work on Zwick.
The issue here, obviously, and this is the #1 thing we brought up with Coach Tressel, is if there is an injury, if something happens with Justin Zwick, what do you do? And I thought he had an interesting response. He has such dedication to his seniors. You have a redshirt freshman in Todd Beckman, who they think could be a competitor next year to maybe win the job. They'd be willing maybe to play him if he got hurt early. And this is about as early as it gets when it comes to an injury.
Nugent from 37. Perfect, as usual. Mike Nugent now second on the all-time Ohio State scoring list, so this story will be one of interest to watch. Justin Zwick aggravates a hamstring injury on the scramble here. What will Ohio State do? Whatever they do, they're going to do it up 10. Just a short walk from the Riverwalk, and that's why this is such a great place for a bowl game. The hotels, the river, the Alamo, the Dome, all within walking distance. And the fans have had a good time here this week. 10-0, Ohio State on top. Oklahoma State has it stuck in neutral right now. The Buckeyes aren't sure who's going to be their quarterback for the next drive. A third Nugent kick, a third touchback. Indecision there as to what they should do. Now, indecision for Ohio State and their head coach Jim Tressel. What do you do? Again, to go back over the point, with the suspension to Troy Smith, that means Justin Zwick had no backup with experience. We mentioned Todd Beckman. He is a true freshman, has not played. If you played him tonight, you would burn his red shirt and lose that very important year.
I wouldn't play him. I wouldn't take a chance on his career. I tell you what I would do, though. I'd put that Ginn in at quarterback, and I think Zwick will be back. I'd play with defense in the kicking game, and I think I could win this game.
Well, you have a 10-point lead, which will help you. Teddy Ginn, there's a look at Todd Beckman. Teddy Ginn is warming up right now on the sideline. He did play his senior year after Troy Smith left. He did play in high school. He played quarterback. So at least he has some experience in the position.
First down run. They go with Seymour Shaw on this drive after Morency was unable to get it going. The senior from Shawnee, Oklahoma, who had 371 yards on the year, gets a positive first down play. Let me just get the name deal here with Morency. Vernon Morency, who was 1,454 yards, right at the top of the Big 12 numbers behind Peterson this year. We asked him yesterday, how do you say your name? And he said, Kirk, you're my witness.
Morency.
He said Morency to
yes.
us. All year, we got the name switched to Morency. So if you're watching this, saying these guys don't know what they're talking about, Vernon told us Morency. I'm sticking with it for tonight. He's got the option. Great job to elude that first tackle. Cowboys side wants the flag for the late hit. Les Miles' team won't get it. Schlegel ran all the way across the middle backer spot.
You can tell this Ohio State defense right now. One of the things they're concerned with is the option. Look how quick 4 and 5 different scarlet jerseys running to the perimeter, trying to beat Morency to the sideline. There's a threat with Woods, but the true threat is right there. And there's Schlegel to make the hit, and then you have
my man Simon Fraser, second team All Big Ten, big red-headed kid. I love that kid.
You've been on him?
I've been on him forever. I love that guy. You see him? Boom. Boy, what explosive speed. Take him in the pros if you're watching right now.
Third down, 3rd and 5. Cowboys get to the 30, keep the drive alive. And redshirt freshman Donovan Woods off to run. Fraser was blocked. Woods has a first down at the 36-yard line. Nate Sally hung on after the gain of 12. Donovan Woods, this freshman quarterback, boy, did they spoon-feed him early on. We go back to that first game, the win out at UCLA. He threw it 9 times. People said, boy, this guy must not be able to throw. But he's more mature than you would think when you look at his stats as a passer and a runner.
I think the thing that stands out to me in watching his growth this year has been his poise throughout the entire year. For a freshman, he has a lot of responsibilities at the line of scrimmage. He looks into the eyes of the defense, and he makes a check nearly every play to get his team in the right play, and he's done a great job with that this year.
Prentice Elliott has terrific speed as well. Prentice Elliott across midfield, pulled out of bounds into Buckeye territory for the first time tonight, out of the 48-yard line.
The play was made by Luke Fraser, number 24. Watch him block the outside contain man. It'll be on the bottom part of your picture. You'll see the man right there. It's number 24. You'll see him right now. Boom! He ducks down number 9. Dante Whitaker, and that's why the play worked.
What I like about this is you get the football into the hands of a guy who likes, he played tailback in high school. His senior year, he went over 2,500 yards. He knows how to make plays, and he's their difference maker. DeJuan Woods gets a lot of the attention, but the best playmaker and on the outside is Elliott.
First sustained offense for the Cowboys tonight.
See Woods recognizing the corner blitz there.
Dustin Fox is coming. Tackle protects. Woods lost the ball. Ohio State heading to first. And the Buckeyes get it with Joel Penton coming up with the recovery. I don't even think he got hit.
We can't stress this enough. But Oklahoma State had a successful year this year by being #1 in the nation in turnover margin and having very few mistakes. In the early going in his football game, Woods is about to pick up big yards. The ball just bounced off his thigh pad and up into the air for the second turnover in 3 possessions in the first quarter.
And you know, from a coach's standpoint, I always like to coach those #1 teams in turnover because I play percentages. Nobody in America can go as well as they have without turning the ball over. And now, boom, 2 in a row.
It's unbelievable. He was high-stepping to get out of the way there, and his knee and his hip pad, or thigh pad, beg your pardon, knocked it out. Ohio State, Justin Zwick returns at quarterback.
Depending on the health of Justin Zwick, a characteristic of Jim Tressel after a big swing of momentum like that is to take a shot down the field. Don't forget Santonio Holmes, who we haven't called his name out yet. This would be a chance for Ohio State to take a shot downfield.
We've got a problem on the far side as the 10-yard chain has been tangled. As they try to make the move after the turnovers, they are untangling the chain right now on the far side of Oklahoma State. Where you see that?
Mike, I'll be shocked to see if Justin Zwick can finish this football game because of his reaction to the initial injury. It looked like it was up. We'll find out from Joe. It looked like it was very high, and that is a burning sensation. It's very difficult to play with. Jill?
The training staff is telling me it's only a mild hamstring pull. It's his left hamstring. They laid him down. They stretched him out. They put a brace on it. He rode the bike for a little bit, and he says he's good to go. go, and he's back in there, guys.
And one thing good about it, he's not a runner anyhow.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a passer. If he can come back and set that right foot, Kirk, he can stay in the whole ball game, throwing little screens and handing the ball off. Now, if he was an option quarterback, it's good night. He's not. He's out of here.
You know, we've talked a lot of this game about Ohio State's defense getting some opportunities. It's about time Oklahoma State, if they're going to get competitive and win this game, their own defense, they need to create some opportunities for their own offense.
First down, Zwick with the pump, and the throw to the tight end. Rory Nichols, second catch of the year, and he gets a first down right at the 38-yard line. Well, all the talk with Justin Zwick because Troy Smith is not here. Smith won 4 of the last 5 games. He was brilliant in the season finale against Michigan. 386 total yards, the 3rd best in Ohio State history in a single game. However, as you may have heard, 9 days ago it was announced that he was suspended for this bowl game for a violation that occurred in the spring. Robert Q. Baker, a Columbus businessman, they had a relationship with Smith. Smith was visiting him regarding a potential summer job, and there was a payment from Baker to Smith that was not discovered until earlier this month. The carry for Lydell Ross around the edge. This got out at the 25-yard line. A 14-yard gain.
That can become an important factor in this game. Previous play, watch Justin Zwick's reaction. You see that? That is not a slight hamstring pull. That is he's playing on guts right now.
And the Bernie you were talking about, it's high.
When it is up there like that, again, I'll be shocked if he's going to be able to see if maybe they allow him to play a couple plays and then maybe come out. That is a very, very sensitive area.
The way they're playing right now, they don't need Justin Zwick to win this ball game. Run it, kick it, and play defense.
The problem, Lee, is they don't have anybody who can turn around and hand the ball off. Ginn has not done that under center. Just with the shotgun.
He can throw it.
Running here. Ginn has receivers blocking for him on the edge, but one was in the back. Penalty coming up here on Roy Hall, number 8, the Buckeye sophomore. On the play. And again, the reason Ginn is here, we were talking about Troy Smith, and just to finish the story with what happened, for those who didn't hear it, the guy Robert Q. Baker involved here is an Ohio State suite 1/3 holder. So he holds part of a suite there at the Big Horseshoe in Columbus. Baker played for Jim Tressel's dad, Lee, at Baldwin Wallace. He is not an Ohio State alum, but because he buys tickets, he thus becomes a booster. He gave money to the kid. It's a problem. Once Ohio State found out about it and investigated the story, they suspended Smith right away, and that's why Zwick is back starting.
End of the run, 3 plays, first down.
There's a larger issue. Obviously, Ohio State's been in the news, and we will get into that in the next quarter. But just to wrap up the part with Troy Smith, Troy is back home in Cleveland. Jim Tressel had to suspend him, told him about it right at the end of the preparation for the players before they went home for Christmas. He did not make the trip down here to San Antonio at all. And Ted Ginn, as Kirk alluded to, his high school teammate, told me that he has talked to Troy during the week. He's doing okay. He's a little bit down. Probably going to be suspended for the first game next year as well. He's really hopeful of coming back to Ohio State. The penalty brings us back to 1st and long. And Zwick back into Santonio Holmes at the 27-yard line. Jim Tressel had a very difficult day when he had to tell Troy Smith that he wasn't going to be a part of this MasterCard Alamo Bowl.
Troy loves the game. Troy made an impact, with his leadership and the way he prepared and the way he hung in there when he wasn't the starter and just kept getting better and was there for his team but erred. And part of life is taking care of your errors. And I told him, hey, on the 30th of December, part of his, penalty is over, and we'll see what goes from there.
And Troy told Coach Tressel, I know I'm going to be at the bottom of the totem pole when I come back. Zwick, high throw, hauled in. Great grab by the fullback, and incomplete. They say Schnicker didn't control it as he came down. He had the ball, but didn't secure it on the way down. So we'll have 3rd and a dozen coming up.
I'm really impressed with Justin Zwick's ability to block out this pain. You can see him every throw he makes. This move is definitely incomplete.
I thought he got it back on his back there.
But every throw he makes, you can see him wincing and almost falling down after every attempt.
And one thing about a hamstring like that, it's not going to get any better. I mean, you can't have any miracle rub on him. It's going to get worse.
30-12 with go forward, or are they going to run again?
He's been at quarterback twice, both were runs. This is the third run, just in Mike Nugent's field goal range. They get inside the 20 into the 18-yard line. You've got the best kicker in the nation. If you're playing a Jim Tressel game of field position, defense, and special teams,
And a quarterback with a hamstring.
it's a smart move to run it on 3rd and 12.
And especially with the defense that's got the offensive team of the opponent stymied. Forced 2 turnovers already.
Mike Nugent, with this field goal, can tie Pete Johnson for the all-time Ohio State record for points scored. It'll be a 35-yard kick, and Kyle Tirico, the punter, is the holder. Mike Nugent tied with Pete Johnson, all-time leading scorer in Buckeye history. Mike said, man, 348 points. I met some guys who were kickers who have their school records. They were like 230, 240. Pete Johnson got it a lot inside the 5 and banged it in. Les Miles and Oklahoma State have some issues. 9 minutes in.
ESPN's presentation of the 2004 MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And in part by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard.
3, 2, 1. Smile, guys. Team picture.
Good-looking group there.
20 years, they'll be moving to a new house somewhere. They'll be dusting off their pictures. And
Perfect.
this will bring back some memories of 2004 and the MasterCard Alamo Bowl, the trip to San Antonio. Justin Zwick, the quarterback, who injured his hamstring on the second drive, trying to stay as loose as possible.
You know, I spoke at the Houston Bowl, and to see UTEP and Colorado players there and to see these 2 teams here, that's why I am in favor as many bowl games as you can have. It's for the players.
The kids
It's
love
for the
it.
players.
And they love it.
Why is Mike Nugent likely going to be drafted in the NFL? 4 touchbacks in addition to the field goals. If you're going to draft somebody, they got to be a kickoff guy as well. He will be in the league. Well, a couple more bowls as Capital One Bowl Week continues tomorrow or Friday on ESPN. Boise State and Louisville in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And then Florida against Miami of Florida in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, New Year's Eve. What a doubleheader that is. Alabama, Minnesota is on the front end of that. We have a penalty on this kickoff. That is 3 terrific games that you'll see on ESPN.
Approaching number 1 kicking team who re-kicked 5 yards the previous spot.
Thomas Matthews, the senior, who is really the emotional leader of this Ohio State team. He's the vocal one who fires them up before the game. He was a hair too fired up on that kickoff. There is Matthews, so they will re-kick it again. Well, they'll re-kick it. Re-kick it again would be redundant.
Well,
Well, we didn't want to say it. Kirk and I were talking. We didn't want to say anything we heard you say. We didn't want to correct it. But that's okay.
All right, Gary.
all right.
All right. Be like
I think, you know what? Let's just see if he can get a touchback here from the 30. NFL, they kick from the 30.
Good.
Here we go. Let's see if good test for next year for Mike Nugent.
He doesn't get a touchback this time.
Boom it. Can he put it through the goalpost?
Look at the ball. Look at that old beat-up ball. Mike Black.
Look at the upside-down T in the old ball.
Mike Black, who is our spotter in the booth, is one of the best kickers in Boise State's history, and he tells us that kickers love to kick an old football. A quarterback's like a weak, broken-in football to throw. Is that about right? Week or two?
Yeah.
Kickers love an old meatball to kick.
Oh, no. Run it out.
I've never seen a kicker. Oh, penalty marker here is the man who was flagged earlier, Matthews, was involved in the play all the way down to the very end. I've never seen a kicker get a better response whenever he walks on the field from the stadium and the fan base. On Oklahoma State, they are, excuse the pun, shooting themselves in the foot big time in this opening quarter.
You know, Mike Nugent was...
After the play, personal foul, number 10 on the receiving team. You have to listen to goal, first down.
Thomas Wright flag here for Les Miles' team.
You know, Mike Nugent was the most valuable player on the Ohio State football team.
Yes, he was.
Thomas Wright with a little Or shove there. And for an offense struggling right now to find any continuity and any consistency at all, it's not good. And you start back inside right around the 10-yard line.
Kirk, here's a stat for you. Mike Nugent, the most valuable player, the first kicker in 28 years to be named the most valuable player for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
First and 10. Morency, the way he said he wants it pronounced, alone in the backfield. Here he comes. 2 to the 12. That Buckeye pursuit is terrific so far. The linebacking core of Carpenter, Hawkins, Zwick. Well, Les Miles, he's no stranger to all the traditions that Ohio State football brings. Les Miles born in Ohio. Les Miles coached at Michigan, played at Michigan. So Les is certainly very familiar with all the trappings of Ohio State. He told us from a historical standpoint for Oklahoma State, this is the biggest opponent they've played in a bowl game. So this game truly carries a lot of weight for a rebuilding Cowboy program, third consecutive winning season. Second and 8. Donovan Woods runs it for a couple with a 3rd and 6 ahead for the Cowboys. We mentioned Les Miles' days at Michigan as an offensive lineman in the mid-70s, played in an Orange Bowl and a Rose Bowl, and then an assistant coach a couple of different times. He credits some of the people he was in Ann Arbor with, Bo Schembechler and Bill McCartney, as the biggest coaching influences. Lee, you always like to know the influences on the guy.
Let me tell you, he looks like a Michigan football player. He looks like a Michigan coach. He had 6 Big Ten championship teams in Michigan when he was there as a coach.
And when Lloyd Carr decides to hang him up, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 2, whatever it is, I think the next head coach of Michigan will be Les Miles.
3rd and 6. Donovan Woods throws complete to his brother, DeJuan Woods. A much-needed first down for Oklahoma State.
This is a huge, not only first down, but throw for Donovan Woods. He gets a soft corner look from Yabodi, and he's able to come up with a nice throw to the outside. Now, it might look like a simple throw by the quarterback, but guys, I'm watching Woods, the quarterback, Donovan Woods, and every time he drops back, he's looking at the corners, he's looking at the linebackers. He just looks a little bit uneasy right now because they're not able to find their rhythm yet to the way they like to play football, which is establishing their running game.
And also comes with a quarterback that throws the first pass and it's intercepted. That happens a lot to a quarterback, losing his confidence.
From the 22, Woods, the long out. That's such a hard throw to make anyway. It's incomplete, intended for his brother DeJuan, who was again followed by Yabodi, the corner. We talk about young quarterbacks and the game slowing down. The game of football for quarterbacks has sped up so much with all the changing and the responsibility at the line. Kirk, sometimes coaches take it away. It seems like with Donovan Woods, he has a lot of the veteran quarterback responsibilities. Which,
for any young quarterback out there that might have a big arm and has great athletic ability, you need to get into the film room and watch quarterbacks like Donovan Woods. The young quarterbacks that are able to play in Division I A and the big-time programs, look at the understanding. This is a freshman, checking at the line of scrimmage in total control, trying to make sure he sets his team up.
2nd and 10, makes the decision to keep. His left foot slid out on him. Anthony Schlegel there for the cover before 3rd down. Here's Jill Arrington.
Well, guys, one of the biggest differences I've noticed in this ballgame from the sidelines is the demeanor of these two teams. Ohio State, from warm-ups through this first quarter, they are playing so energized. They're having fun. They're smiling. They're high-fiving. Yes, they're winning right now, but I'm talking this was in warm-ups. They were so loose, and it really shows on the field with the way they're playing. And right now, Oklahoma State's playing like they've already been beat. They can't get it together yet.
Part of that shows they can't find that identity. They cannot establish the running game. Mark Snyder, the defensive coordinator, has a great scheme put together so far for Ohio State.
3rd and 9. Woods 2 of 5 passing. Hit as he throws. Incomplete. Trying to get it inside that zone. DeJuan Woods was there, but the pressure from Joel Penton and the nice zone coverage made it a tough completion.
Tyler Everett, number 26, is one of the guys. But watch this cut. I like the cut on there, but watch the defensive play right there by number 6. Number 6 comes in there. Tyler Everett makes a good play, Kirk. I like the way he jumped on that thing.
I also like the way the corner, Ashton Yabodi, settled early and then came back to be in the way of Woods to avoid, also along with Everett, avoid any chance of Woods making that catch for a first down.
Last time with the threat of Ted Ginn back there, Farden's kick was a poor one. This time, Farden's kick is not as poor. It's unreturnable, but Ohio State again has fabulous field position. The Buckeyes will take over at their own 43. Justin Zwick, bad hamstring, coming back in, leading by 13. Ohio State leading Oklahoma State 13-0. Both of these teams journeying south to San Antonio. Stillwater, Oklahoma, about an hour away from Oklahoma City. And there is Columbus, the capital, right in the heart of the Buckeye State. These two teams have only played once before, back in 1989, in the shoe in Columbus, and the Buckeyes were victorious in that game. Justin Zwick out of the shotgun takes over from the 43. And Lydell Ross is back there with him now. And 5 in the pattern for Zwick. The quick hit to the tight end Ryan Hamby. He caught 15 balls in the season, a couple thus far tonight. Robert Jones, the corner, made the tackle. This Oklahoma State defense, I mentioned, gave up about 400 yards and 25 points a game. They forced a lot of turnovers, 25 on the year, for a unit that returned 9 starters.
And one thing about the Oklahoma State defense, there are no really stars on it. They did not have a single all Big 12 defensive player on their football team. Wow, that's a good coaching job just to get to a game like this.
2nd and 6, and here is Ross carrying for the first time tonight across midfield, about a yard shy of the first down. We've said it a couple of times, their best defensive player, Derek Williams, their starting left cornerback, a player who was going to get an NFL look and probably will still get an NFL look. He missed 6 of the last 7 games, fractured his forearm, but Williams was out of the lineup. Just played 3 plays against Texas. They essentially didn't have him the last 2/3 of the season, but was suspended for this game. Nobody officially said why. Violation of team rules is the official reason. Sounds like his attitude wasn't great. And as a senior, bowl game, chance to play one more time. 3rd and a yard. Here is Ross trying to bounce it to the outside, and that Oklahoma State defense comes up and makes a play. I don't know who they'll officially credit with the tackle, but Victor DeGreat and Robert Jones made some nice plays to force this 4th down.
That's a nice job on the inside there. Victor DeGreat, who was a former middle linebacker last year, he was 3rd on the team in tackles. They moved him to defensive end this year. Tremendous athletic ability, and he basically used one arm to pull Lydell Ross down and short of the 1st down.
And then Robert Jones came up from his corner position to finish it off. That's a very good defensive stand for Oklahoma State. They needed that right there.
Prentice Elliott's a very good punt returner, too. Oklahoma State side said he's our Teddy Gibb. He's got that kind of speed. Kyle Toronto, a 50-year senior, will kick it to him and try to get it inside the 15-yard line. Fair catch called for and made at the 13 by the freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Capital One Bowl week continues. What a great couple of days it has been. And then tomorrow night, you ready for a shootout? Texas Tech and California, clearly the best team not in the Bowl Championship Series. Whenever you get Coach Leach, you know the ball's going to be in the air. It could be a fun show at the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl in San Diego, 8 Eastern tomorrow night. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD.
You know, we had Texas Tech in a Tangerine Bowl a few years ago, and one of the things we learned about Mike Leach is we talked about him throwing it around. They're a physical team. They play in the Big 12. They're physical in the trenches, but they've got to go up against Aaron Rodgers and a great Cal team. That'll be an exciting game to watch.
Sean McDonough, Craig James will bring you that game from San Diego, raining out in San Diego. Here's Morency, got out to the 20. Did you see that? It almost looked like he kind of dropped it down a gear to set up a block. He really is a stylish runner and can do things like that. We are in the Alamo City, San Antonio, for the 2004 MasterCard Alamo Bowl. There are 7 and 4 teams. The Big 12, as you've seen the last 2 nights on ESPN, is undefeated thus far in the bowl season, 2-0. Iowa State winning last night, Colorado winning this afternoon over UTEP. And this is the first foray for the Big 10 here in the postseason. 2 Oklahoma State turnovers have helped the Buckeyes to a 13-point early lead. Fullback carry, Sean Willis. Going to be a yard shy of the first down. Here is what has happened in the game. Justin Zwick started for the suspended Troy Smith. Anthony Gonzalez on the other end of that touchdown pass. And then on the next drive after a turnover, Zwick coming up lame with an injury to that upper left hamstring. So they've had to kind of ham and egg it, to use a golf term, and have Teddy Ginn come in and take shotgun snaps at quarterback 3 different times.
Ham and egg?
Ham and egg it. Yeah. You know, one partner does it one shot, and nobody really plays well, but as a team, you get the job done. Ham and egg it.
There you go.
You drop that next time you play Tartan Fields and all those great courses up in Columbus. That was a first down carry for Willis. So for the 23, Morency hit the hole hard that time. Takes it out for a gain of 4. Bodie on the tackle, what should be the last play of the first quarter.
Now, I like what Oklahoma State's doing right now. They're going back to what they do best. Go at that Ohio State. I know the Ohio State's going to be tough against the run, Kirk, but you know what? You've got to make a commitment to the run when that's what you do best.
I couldn't agree more. That last sequence of plays here on 1st and 10, they've gotten some positive yards, puts themselves in at least a position to keep moving the sticks.
2 field goals from Mike Nugent. The 1 touchdown pass from Zwick to Gonzalez, but a bad punt and 2 turnovers by Oklahoma State have set the table in the first. Through 15 in the 2004 MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Ohio State on top by 13. Quarter number 2 here at the MasterCard Alamo Bowl.
What time is it? And it doesn't help. Make sure you're loud. Make sure you're proud. Go Bucks. Thank you.
Some scenes from the pep rally down on the River Walk earlier this week, a couple of nights ago. 13-0 Ohio State leading Oklahoma State as we get set to start the second quarter. With Jill Arrington, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit, Mike Tirico. The fans got more excited about the contest between 2 individuals representing each school during the break than they did at any point in the first quarter.
Speaking of contests, how about the San Antonio Spurs dog contest?
That was the highlight of the game.
I'm telling you.
I thought. The big white poodle. What an athlete.
What an athlete.
Jumping over.
Last night we got a chance to go a couple of miles from here to the SBC Center to watch the Spurs beat the team with the best record in the NBA, the Phoenix Suns. Thanks to our buddies at the Spurs for looking after all of us. It was a great time. We'll have the Spurs on here on ESPN in a couple of weeks. Be back down here when they take on the Dallas Mavericks.
Spurs look like the team to beat in the Western Conference, even though the record of Phoenix, at least last night. They don't have the depth on Phoenix.
Hey, they held Phoenix to 15 points in the third quarter.
That's why they won the game.
You know, the good thing about
the second half.
Good thing about the NBA season is I don't have to listen to you guys. Here's the pass to start the second quarter, complete to Luke Frazier, the junior. Went to Northeast Oklahoma A&M before coming to Stillwater, and Frazier's right around the first down mark.
See, with an offense that isn't the West Coast offense when it comes to throwing the football. We have a freshman quarterback that's getting better at throwing. This obviously is not an offense that's comfortable at 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. All of a sudden, these last couple series, or at least the first downs, they've had a chance to get to 2nd and 5 and 2nd and 3, and that works to the passing game that they have with a 3-step drop.
Donovan Woods' first down toss, pursued, a smart throw, intended for Billy Badgett, but that play was made by Simon Frazier, and the captain's pass rush there. So here's the game track if you're just tuning in for quarter number 2. That interception on the first pass thrown started Ohio State in good stead, and here was the touchdown on the third play after the pick to Anthony Gonzalez, Tony's second on the season. Justin Zwick getting injured as he rolled the pocket after a short punt as they try to kick away from Teddy again. Those are the main storylines, and we've watched Zwick on the bike trying to stay loose any way he can, so they don't have to burn the red shirt on their true freshman quarterback, Tom Beckman, who hasn't played this year. The incompletion leaves 2nd and 10 and no backs. Which throw is incomplete. Badgett couldn't get there, covered by Anthony Schlegel, who was an all-conference performer at the Air Force Academy back in 2002.
Schlegel is 6'2", 245 from Harlan Park, Texas. And I like the way he dropped back that time, Kirk. He plays the run real well, but that time he just slid over and boom, he's got good closing speed. Boy, you talk about Hawk, Schlegel, and Carpenter. Those are 3 good-looking linebackers for the Buckeyes.
What's funny is Ohio State looked like early in the Alamo Bowl they might play Texas Tech, and when things changed with the BCS numbers, He was the happiest guy in the world, these linebackers, to play a team like Oklahoma State, but they're going to play a team that's going to run the football.
5 defensive backs in. Jay Richardson to pass rush for OSU. They're both OSU. He's doing it for Ohio State. Woods to his brother. Dewan on the run is pushed out of bounds a couple of yards shy of the first down by Dante Whitner. Let's check the spot here. They had to get to the 44. They are yards shy, and Teddy Ginn will head back with Santonio Holmes to return the punt. Well, Farden has kicked twice away from Ginn. And the other guy on the opposite side, Santonio Holmes, is also an explosive punt returner. 42 yards. Here's Ginn from the 50. Well covered by Oklahoma State. Tackled by Jamar Ransom, the safety, at the 20-yard line. They're just one play away from gaining some momentum and getting right back in this game, where as lopsided as it's been. Buckeyes only lead by 13.
Because we want to show the world we still have it.
Because it's another chance for me to catch a ball from my brother.
That's why we play these games. During Capital One Bowl week, there are the parents of the Woods brothers, Juana and Lawrence Woods. They're very proud of their 6 children. Rashawn, of course, the one who's on to the NFL. And now Dewan and Donovan trying to get Oklahoma State going when they get the ball back. See if it's in good field position. First down run for Brandon Joe. Big, tough, head-to-head contact. Joe is brought down across the 25-yard line. Robert Jones with that big hit.
Well, this takes a lot of courage for a defensive back of the size, especially a corner, 5'11", 190 pounds, taking on Brandon Joe. And Brandon Joe's over 250 pounds, and he took him up high. I don't recommend that for those corners, but give him credit. He brought him down.
And Brandon Joe, to me, was one of the key reasons why the Ohio State Buckeyes beat Michigan. With him running the football in there for over 50 yards, they developed a running attack, and that's how they beat Michigan.
A lot of this one-back look. Joe again. Launched the pile across the 35. And a first down yard line. Brandon Schnittger, the fullback. A nice job blocking. Lee, you mentioned the Michigan-Ohio State game. Here's the Buckeyes season. It was kind of in pieces. Won their first 3, lost their next 3. They were 0-3 in the Big Ten. I mean, that was unheard of in Ohio State football annals. Bounce back to win 3 in a row. Lose by 7 at Purdue. But they did what you need to do. They beat Michigan in the final regular season game and end up at 7-4, 4-4 in the league.
I think the adversity that they faced early in the year, losing 3, and then coming back to get back on track and regain some confidence is very big for the future of this football team getting into next year.
Zwick play action pass too high, intended for Ryan Hamby, the tight end, who's been a big target tonight.
I tell you what, if this Troy Smith comes back and is reinstated, this is a good-looking football team for next year. They only have 4 seniors starting on offense and defense, Mike. Kirk, this is a football team that can win the Big Ten championship next year. They got a good schedule. They got Texas at home there. They got Michigan at Michigan, but they got their number. This is a good-looking football team with Troy Smith at quarterback.
And they lost 14 players last year in the NFL, so it's kind of a rebuilding year early in the year. And next year, you're right. They have a great shot at being right there to compete for a championship.
Quick hitter for Joe. He gains 4. Out to the 39-yard line.
I thought Joe made a really good point about body language. You can even see it from up here. You have one sideline with Ohio State. Guys are into the game. They're up. They're paying attention. There's a motion. Then you look on the other side. Oklahoma State right now, they're looking for a spark. And I guess when you turn the ball over like that early in the game, it takes a little bit of the life out of you.
Also, the fact that Oklahoma State lost 3 of the last 4 ball games, and Ohio State beat Michigan. That, sweethearts, is why they got that sense of confidence.
3rd and 6, needing to get to the 45. Zwick, the quarterback, 5 options to throw. Santonio Holmes, first down, 49-yard line. He'll be tackled there. He never came down with his knee, pivoted on his left hand, to try to keep the play alive. Oklahoma State pulled the ball away at the end. That's Buckeye ball and Ohio State first down.
Again, this is the growth of the offense. You have three different weapons. You have Santonio Holmes, Teddy Ginn, and Tony Gonzalez. This time in man coverage. They bring the blitz, and a good job of breaking the route down by Santonio Holmes. And I'll tell you, for Justin Zwick to be out this many games, he has really gotten back into sync fairly quickly with the pass game with these new receivers. Different looking offense, and early in this game, he's adjusted very well.
Santonio now has caught a pass in 18 straight games. Santonio Holmes.
A career high 51 for the sophomore out of Belgrade, Florida. Quick pitch, hauled in by Ginn, making people must look out. Look out, Teddy Ginn! Teddy Ginn inside the 10! Are you kidding me?
I'll say it again. Guys, you've got Reggie Bush at USC, Devin Hester at Miami, and Teddy Ginn at Ohio State. This play's supposed to be over. It's not. But with number 7,
Nothing. All right, let me tell you something. Let me finish something. The Heisman race between Adrian Peterson, Teddy Ginn, and Reggie Bush, and these guys next year is going to be good as ever if Matt Leinart comes back. Yo, can you believe it?
From the 9, Brandon Joe powers forward, gain of a couple. So you are at least pumping the 05 Heisman race.
05 Heisman race.
Good.
Teddy Ginn, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, and Adrian Peterson. I mean, that could be as good as all time, Mike. I'm telling you.
It is hot and humid here in the dome. You see Ginn has touched it 6 times for 67 yards so far.
And remember, first play of the game, first touchdown, they faked him and threw a touchdown pass to Gonzalez.
Bam Childress, the senior, joins Santonio Holmes at receiver. It is Joe shooting at the 5, pounding forward and down to the 1. 250 pounds. Boy, you can tell he was running with a different confidence. Yeah.
And your left side of the lineup, Rob Sims, T.J. Downing, Nick Mango, the center, are all just coming off the ball curve now, and they're starting to blow the Oklahoma State players back. And that's the secret for Ohio State football.
Oklahoma State here takes a timeout. He is a special player, that's for sure. True freshman, Teddy Ginn. Get it in his hands and watch him go. And he's brought the Buckeyes to the doorstep. 3rd down from the 1 when you come back. The big play by Ted Ginn Jr. has Ohio State 3rd and goal from the 1, coached by his dad, Ted Ginn Sr. He's seen his son make some exciting plays the second half of the season. And the Buckeyes will go full house backfield here from the 1. Lydell Ross, the 3rd back, he takes it. He is met, keeps going. Touchdown, Ohio State.
Sims, Downing, just come off the football, especially number 72, Downing. He makes a great block here, but Kirk, a big thing about it, what's that extra effort?
I think we have depth at the tailback position, and with Brandon Joe moving in there and helping him out, it keeps all these guys fresh. You're able to run right through a safety and into the end zone.
Ross is one of the captains.
Nugent for the all-time Ohio State scoring record. Bangs it through, and no Buckeye in the history of Ohio State football has scored more points than Mike Nugent. His players know it. Those guys stay there for a while and congratulate their kicker after the Lydell Ross touchdown run. Most points in the great history of Ohio State football. Mike Nugent.
Mike, where's that Mike Nugent from?
Elk Pride, Centerville, Ohio.
He's a Centerville Elk, working hard down there in Southwest Ohio.
20-0 Ohio State. Let's go back to the big plays from a moment ago.
You almost just don't want to talk because you don't want to ruin it. It's poetry. And you knew as soon as he turned the corner, you just want to see his gait. You want to see him stretch out because he's so unique. Give Oklahoma State credit for giving great effort downfield, because I thought he was going to get to the corner and score a touchdown, but that play set up the Buckeyes for a 20-0 lead.
The only question I have, and please, I don't mean to be sarcastic, but why in the heck did this guy play the first
That's a great question.
I'd just like to ask somebody, tell me, this is a great talent.
I can tell you at least what slowed his process down is he came in as a true freshman playing just corner. So he went through the entire month of August playing corner. And then when they got ready for the season, first week of the season, they decided that based on the depth at corner, they're going to move him over to receiver. So he really didn't become, he still is learning how to play receiver. But next year, I think he'll be back at corner.
Mike Gundy, touchback number 5.
Early?
Yeah, but I touched on the 3 difference makers, and of course Adrian Peterson is in there, but I'm talking about a guy, every time he touches the ball, you just don't know what's going to happen. If they get a seam, they're going to go the distance. Devin Hester, Miami, of course Reggie Bush, and Teddy Ginn in the second half of the season has become that kind of guy, whether it's a punt, whether it's a screen, whether you line him up anywhere on the field, when he gets his hands on the football, he's a threat to take it to the end zone.
Oklahoma State in a world of trouble. Not even 20 minutes in, down 20. On first down, here comes Donovan Woods. There are like 17 Buckeye defenders out there. No place to run. Down to Jill Arrington with Ted Ginn Sr.
This is the guy that taught little Teddy everything he knows. When did you first realize what a special athlete your son was?
Probably when he was a sophomore in high school. You know, he first started off in track, but he's been playing football all his life. But, you know, in track, I noticed he has some special speed. Probably since he was a sophomore in high school.
I understand we've seen what he can do on the offensive side of the ball, but you're telling me that he could be pretty good on defense, and they're underutilizing him.
No question. I mean, you know, he could do the same thing on the defensive side of the ball, but, you know, they playing the way they need him.
He idolizes Dion. Is that who he'd like to someday be? Both sides of the ball, taking care of everything. Yeah,
no question. That's what he likes. He like to do what he needs to do for the team. You know, he don't really think about himself. He always think about the team and what he can do to help the team.
Well, Dad, I'm sure he learned that from you. We appreciate you talking to us. Are you surprised by his success tonight, or were you expecting it?
No, not really. You know, I think he can do more. You know, they're not working him hard enough.
Just like a dad would say. Thanks so much. Enjoy the game.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a dad who threw his son football starting at age 4 in the yard. When he didn't catch 3 in a row, he dropped one. No, I'm not going to throw him anymore. We'll come back later and do it again. He's really brought to this level with a lot of hard work.
Ted Ginn Sr., a great high school football coach in the inner city of Cleveland.
Third down, Woods throwing off one leg to Prentice Elliott, trying to make a move. Nowhere to go, and it's another punt coming for Oklahoma State.
Cleveland Glenville, as I said, and he's done such a great job of developing not only individual talent, players who have gone on to play at college football, and eventually I'm sure they'll play in the NFL. There's 3 that play for Ohio State. He has some more on his team right now this year that have already verbal to play for Ohio State down the road. But you know, the thing about Teddy Ginn, next year you're going to see him start at corner, I think. He's going to play a lot of receiver, and of course he's going to return punts. That's why, Lee, your statement about throw him in the mix for the Heisman, he's going to be all over the field to give himself a great chance.
Another kick, this one to Santonio Holmes. Ginn going to go block for him, and Santonio takes it out to the 43-yard line. Oklahoma State has run 27 plays tonight, all but 1 in its own end. They have 92 yards, no points, and are in a world of trouble against the Buckeyes here tonight.
ESPN's presentation of the 2004 MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Brought to you by 7-Eleven. The faster you go, the more you need to stop. Oh, thank heaven. Pontiac and the first ever G6, the next official performance machine of the NCAA. And Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Skyline of this very large geographic city, 360 square miles. City limits of San Antonio. Buckeyes take over at the 43. The Cowboys, who lost their final game at Texas Tech 31-15. In some trouble here tonight, down 20. Justin Zwick out of the shotgun to start this drive. Angled, low snap. Zwick pulled it in, throws to Santonio Holmes right at the first down line. We'll talk about the finale losing at Texas Tech. Here is the Cowboy 2004 season. 5th in the Big 12 South. Doesn't sound good until you start listening to teams ahead of them. It's a darn good conference. They ran it very well. Set a school record for attendance at Boone Pickens Stadium. But in that 7-4, guys, 2 of the losses stick out. They opened 5-0. They were 6-1. Lost to Oklahoma at home by 3. And lost to Texas 56-35.
And in both those games, they scored 35 points against Oklahoma and 35 points against Texas.
Not easy to do. That's something other teams did during the year.
Well, that Texas game really demoralized them. Well, they had a 35-7 halftime lead against Texas and lost 56-35. Now that takes the heart out. Now they beat Baylor the next week, but then they were finished against Texas Tech. Remember, they have lost 4 of the last 6, and the Buckeyes are coming off of that Michigan win. What is a difference in the mental attitude, Mike?
See it from the beginning of this game. You can see it.
And we see it over and over the years in bowl games. Sometimes games go south quickly and stay that way. First down picked up on the last carry, and from the 44, Justin Zwick to Brandon Schnittger, the fullback, 13 yards in the first down. Robert Jones is just getting bowled over like a pin tonight.
2 things stand out to me. Number 1, Justin Zwick has completely blocked out the pain, and give the medical staff credit for keeping him in the game. But watching this offense today, starting from the Michigan game, really maybe the second half of the season, with the growth of the receivers and the continuity of the offensive line, all of a sudden they're throwing the football on 1st and 10 a lot more. They're opening things up with 3 and 4 receivers. Become a much more balanced offense.
Joe with the carry coming off the edge. Strong safety. Vernon Grant, a former quarterback, made the tackle. He's out of Duncanville, Texas. A whole bunch of Texans, over 40 Texas born on this Oklahoma State roster, making this trip to San Antonio so important for these players. Oklahoma State here for the 2nd time. They lost to a Billy Dicken-led Purdue team. Bob Simmons was the head coach of Oklahoma State in 1997. And their current head coach, Les Miles, was the offensive coordinator. He returns now and sees the Buckeyes hang a 20 here in the first 24 minutes. Ted Ginn at quarterback takes the snap and almost takes it all the way. Big old Lawrence Pinson hanging on for dear life as Ginn was sprinting to the end zone.
If Pinson doesn't make this tackle, he splits the 2 safeties and gets to the end zone again.
The thing that is amazing to me is that he's got explosive speed that you can't realize until you see him in person, then you can't believe it.
No.
I mean,
world class.
I mean, he's good.
This is the shotgun. Teddy not too far from the quarterback. 3rd and 4. The show of pressure from Paget McGee, the backup linebacker. He comes right to Ginn. Good play in the open field. Bring him down by Thomas Wright, a junior who had 11 tackles in 9 games. I'm going to say that was probably his best tackle.
I'm going to tell you what, that's the best tackle this year. To get Ted Ginn in an open field like this. Nice play, Thomas Wright. I want to congratulate you. 6 foot, 185 from Sweeney, Oklahoma. Wasn't that a tackle?
You're in the open field with Teddy Ginn. It's you and Teddy in the end zone. That's a heck of a play.
It's like, and all of a sudden he stuck it to him. Yep. You might want to tackle him from now on real high like that, if you can.
Mike Nugent from 41 yards, 20 of 27 all time from over 40. La Machine.
La Machine.
He's unbelievable. 23-0. Nugent has 3 field goals, 2 extra points here on the night. That's great for Ohio State right now. It has been a very tough year. More gray than scarlet. We'll talk about the controversy in Columbus and the update of where it stands now as we continue here from San Antonio. Buckeyes lead here 23-0. Well, ESPN, the magazine, back during the football season here in the fall, Maurice Claret's accusations against the Ohio State program of loaner cars arranged by Coach Jim Tressel. And he was introduced by Ohio State staff to boosters who provided money, lucrative jobs by Dick Tressel, Jim's brother, the running backs coach that he didn't show for. And he was aligned with an academic advisor whose goal was simply to keep him eligible. Certainly was a problematic moment for Ohio State that has continued on through here at this MasterCard Alamo Bowl, and we'll explain why in a little bit. Those Claret accusations all tie back to Maurice being declared ineligible, never applying for reinstatement back after the great freshman season of 2002 when he helped lead Ohio State to the national championship. A kickoff return for Oklahoma State. We haven't had one tonight. And nowhere to go for Prentice Elliott is brought down at the 14-yard line. Adding to the controversy, in Columbus, 5 football players were arrested, including Albert Dukes, a freshman receiver who was arrested in Florida before this bowl game. Men's basketball coach Jim O'Brien was fired after admitting that he paid money to the mother of a recruit, a young man who he was trying to help, who was overseas, who never came to Ohio State to play. And the school, because of that, has imposed postseason sanctions for this basketball season, and there'll be more investigating into the basketball program. Needless to say, it has been a very difficult year, but just relating to football, guys, it's been very tough for Ohio State in trying to penalize the players who've made mistakes.
Yeah, I think it's been tough for Jim Tressel and his staff to try to keep his team focused. So you can see tonight they're doing a great job of staying focused on the football game. I think there's a lot of separate issues here when it comes to what's happening with Ohio State. You know, you have the Maurice Claret who's letting him know. It's no different than being a parent letting him know that, hey, when you mess up, there are consequences. And you're not only sending a message to him, but you're sending a message to the rest of the team. And that somewhere along the line is not being communicated, because we're seeing it continue to happen at Ohio State.
Here's the deep ball try for Dewan Woods, incomplete after Morency had a 7-yard gain on first down. We'll have 3rd and 3 coming up late.
From a
penalty a little bit tougher. Maybe kick a guy off the team. He says that'd be the easy thing to do. I'm here to try to help these guys. And I just wonder if some of the players are taking advantage of having a coach that's reasonable and is trying to help them.
Luke Frazier with the catch there, and Oklahoma State gets a much-needed first down out to the 32-yard line. That speaks, guys, to the issues of the arrest that happened, the 5 arrests of football players here during the season. The other issue is a far bigger issue. It has to do with the boosters around the program. That's the Troy Smith story. That's some of the accusations from Maurice Claret that to this point have not been proven. And one thing we have to be very clear about, you can't say somebody should be fired. Something should happen to the athletic director, Andy Geiger, until there's an investigation done. Part of the problem with the media, I'm sorry to be on a soapbox, part of the American media problem is people run to make a big statement so they can be splashed. Why don't we be patient and let investigations happen before you run to say what the judgment should be?
Big as it gets. Jim Tressel has come in. He's 3-1 against Michigan. He's won a national championship. He finished 5th in the nation last year. He's got this program on the field.
Woods' throw is complete into Buckeye territory. Javon Mack coming down with the catch, and the late hit will bring them all the way down to the 27-yard line.
Just to quickly finish up, it's you know, you have the Cleveland Browns in that state, you have the Indians, you have the Cavaliers with LeBron James, I'll throw it in there, the Bengals and the Reds. Right. But Ohio State football in every corner of that state is as big as it gets. And guys want to be involved with the program, and they want to support the program. And when you talk about how popular this program is right now compared to where it was 5 or 10 or 15 years ago, it's off the charts.
After the national championship,
and one thing, I do a lot of speaking all over the country, and the national perception right now of the Buckeyes is not good. And this Troy Smith thing really hurt them, because what it did is it almost gave Maurice Claret's thoughts, maybe there is some truth to Maurice Claret. And what happened there, they made Maurice Claret got credible by Troy Smith getting in trouble with the basic same thing. Public relations problem.
First down for Oklahoma State. The throw to Dewan Woods. He's complete. Only a gain of about 3 yards to the 25-yard line. We'll just go through the news business of what has happened here in the last couple of days. The Troy Smith violation was reported by an Ohio State.
There's been an infraction. I think you have to judge them by how they respond. And look how they responded with Troy Smith. He's out. He broke a rule. He's sitting out. So I think you have to. I know you have to try to control the situation, but I think until we find out more and more information about this, I think the only
which is not right, but that's the perception.
In being around this program this week and talking to the people involved, they are hell-bent on getting it right.
Yes, sir.
Because there are a lot of good people around this program whose name is being sullied by the few rogue boosters who are causing the problem. Best drive of the night, Oklahoma State. Here's the quarterback, Woods. Up top, double coverage for his brother. Incomplete. The pass intended for DeJuan Woods, and we send it back to Reese Davis in the studio.
All right, Mike, Trev, and Mark are here coming up on the Dodge halftime report. No real problem in Houston. We'll have highlights from the EV1.net. Houston Bowl will also hear from one of those Ohio State boosters that you were talking about a moment ago, Mike, and also some coaches coming and going.
And some of those coaches going will tell you that some of the possible candidates could take over those positions.
Great candidates out there, guys.
And a new job open with Paul Pasqualoni being fired today, Mike.
Yes, Reese, Paul Pasqualoni, we saw at the Champs Sports Bowl against Georgia Tech, was let go today by Darryl Gross, the athletic director, who said he's looking for somebody with some pro and college experience to replace the 15-year head coach at Syracuse. 3rd and 6, Cowboys in field goal range. Will they stay there? Incomplete. A dangerous Simon Fraser in the face of Donovan Woods almost turned into an interception, a sack out of field goal range, a face mask. A lot of things could have happened. It's just 4th down.
Besides Erasmus James of Wisconsin, this is my favorite right here. Simon Fraser, 75, 6'6", 280. Watch his ability, and I'm telling you, he's never stopped. No wonder he's a captain. He's from Upper Arlington. That's a nice neighborhood to live in, Kirk.
That's what I understand. Yeah.
Aren't you moving into that?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening with
Here is Jason Ricks for 42 yards. He's a true freshman, been good this year, but only 1 of 5 from over 39 yards. To get the Cowboys on the board. No. Wide right. And this Ohio State defense that Les Miles' team moved it on as well as anyone has comes up with nothing.
That was a big kick. I mean, just to stop the bleeding.
Just a scratch.
Yeah, stop the bleeding, go into halftime, down by 3 scores. Yep. But at least it gives you a little bit of spirit. We keep talking about the spirit of Oklahoma State. Where is it? What's happening? That would at least helped.
I'll tell you, right now, this defensive coordinator, Mark Snyder, who was 6 years at Youngstown State, then went to Minnesota, now is the new defensive coordinator here. I tell you what, this game he's got defensive guy, he's got Les Miles and his staff completely confused. They have taken away almost everything, Kirk, that Oklahoma State wants to do.
One of the things that he's done a great job of.
Lionel Ross carrying just a couple. Oklahoma State has his timeouts, 2 of them. Buckeyes just want to get out of Dodge here.
2 things. Number 1, Mark Snyder getting his defense ready for Michigan. He had true freshmen in Chad Henne and Michael Hart in the backfield. And they did a lot of disguising of coverages and attacking and mixing things up, and it worked very well. Tonight, against another young quarterback, they have been moving around, changing up the defense and changing up the alignment and winning the battle up front in the line of scrimmage. This defense is very well prepared tonight by Mark Snyder.
And Mel Tucker is a co-defensive coordinator. Mel used to work for Nick Saban.
Yes.
They got a good defensive staff there.
2nd and 8. Carry by Ross. A couple of yards shy of the 1st down. Well, Les Miles will take his Oklahoma State team into the locker room, trying to rally him here at the half. Les Miles has been in the news as well here over the last 24 hours. Harry Birdwell, the athletic director at Oklahoma State, talking with his folks about the coaching situation and the rumors that Les Miles is being looked at by LSU. Birdwell has a blanket policy about all his coaches. When somebody asks for permission to talk to them, he can give it to them, not during the season. So that has not happened on their end. But it doesn't prevent LSU from going out on its own and talking to Les Miles. Nobody would say definitively yes or no if Les has been approached by LSU or has talked to him to this point. It was a dominant first half against his team by the Buckeyes, who are up 23-0 here at the break. Dominant first half for Ohio State. They get it first in the 3rd, and here's Reese Davis.
ESPN's Capital One Bowl Week, an American holiday tradition.
Game 2 of our here in game 2. Justin Zwick hasn't played in 10.5 weeks. 10 first-half completions. No Buckeyes scored more points ever than Mike Nugent now. He has set the record for points scored in Ohio State career. And the Buckeye defense has just put the clamps down at Oklahoma State. 35 plays, 138 yards. Really, only one drive of any significance. 23-0 as the Cowboys hit to the Buckeyes to start. Quarter number 3. Maurice Hall, the all-time kickoff returner in Ohio State history in terms of yards. And Santonio Holmes back for the Cole Farden kickoff. 48 touchbacks out of 71 kicks. He has a big leg as well. And Hall will bring it out from 5 yards deep to the 26-yard line. Mike Tirico, the Corso and Kirk Herbstreit, Jill Arrington back with you here at the Alamo Dome. What do you do, Oklahoma State, to get back in?
Well, first of all, you're getting shut out, so obviously the offense is not doing anything. Kirk, you got to win this game on defense. They got to take some chances. Oklahoma State does. Blitz them if they necessarily have to. Get a turnover, get a touchdown, and then slowly catch them with defense.
Ohio State's defense has dominated this football game. They've created 2 turnovers. This is an Oklahoma State team that came into this game #1 in the country in turnover margin. They don't have the offense to get down by 23 and then work themselves back in. Lee, you're right. They've got to get a turnover. They got to get a break on special teams. They have to win field position to help their offense out.
First play, quarter 3. It is
like that.
Joe, the ball came out.
That's exactly.
And the Cowboys have recovered. Oklahoma State comes up with the recovery. Brandon Joe coughed it up, an injured player. Vernon Grant, or rather Jamie Thompson, who came up with the force. Was he down when the ball came out? Let's take a look. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely he was down. Of course, not in the bowl season, but in the Big Ten regular season. This would have been looked at via instant replay and probably would not have been a fumble.
And there's a big movement, as you know, to put the NCAA in to have replay for all of college.
Should be everywhere. It should be in the postseason. The Big Ten did a nice job of that, even though they took some hits early.
Yeah, from me especially.
From a lot of people, it turned out to be a great thing. We just talked about how the defense has to give them the ball.
That's exactly right.
What do you want to do here? Run, establish your run?
Yes, run it, then play action it. But do not come out throwing the football, because when they have before, they have done nothing.
He's a soft corner. He may try to throw a quick game. There's the run.
Toss to Vernon Mortensen. Not much room there, just a couple of yards to the 31-yard line. Again, when he walked into our meeting yesterday, we asked, how do you say your name? He said Morency. Morency is what you've heard through the balance of the 2004 second half of the season. So
they change weekly.
It might change in the second half, because Morency only had 6 carries to 16 yards in the first half. Maybe we should call him Morency here in the second half. He'll get back to that 1,454-yard season he had.
I really recommend Mike Gundy, the Oklahoma State quarterback coach and offensive coordinator, run some reverses. These people are flying to the ball, Ohio State is.
Mike, that's part of the responsibility of Donovan Woods. Recognition, again, for a freshman. That's outstanding. Now let's see if they can execute the play.
It is the quick toss, and they could not get it into the hands of Francis Elliott. Here's Jill Arrington down on the sideline.
Well, Mike, this Oklahoma State team listened to their coach at halftime. When I talked to him and I asked him, what did he tell him to get him going in this game? He said, well, yes, the turnovers deflated this team the whole first half, but I've turned it around, and it's all going to be on my defense's shoulders. They've responded. He's really looking to them to continue to win this game for them on defense.
Les Miles is a confident, great person to lead a school and a football program. Age 51, he's been around some great ones like Coach Jen Beckler.
Think about how far he's brought this program, Mike, in a very short time.
I'll give you a number after this play. 3rd and 8 from the 31. Donovan Woods, keeper, designed to run. He's not going to get the first down. So you're at the 25 here. It's a 42, 43-yard field goal. It's 4th and a yard and a half. What do you want to do?
Oh, I go for it. I tell you what, I'd go. If nothing else, you know what you're telling your football team? We're here to win. We're not 3 points is not going to catch these guys, Kurt. Go for it, Les.
It's funny you just said we're here to win. He came on our bus, the Home Depot bus, after we went to the Oklahoma State-Oklahoma game in Stillwater. He walked in, the first thing he said is, we play to win. That was the first thing he said after that great effort when they came up short against the Sooners.
It's officially 4th and 2. They hand it to Prentice Elliott, their fastest player, has the corner, inside the 10. First and goal for Elliott, down at the 9. And give a shout out to DeJuan Woods. The best pass catcher on this team is Frazier. They blocked to Spring Elliott for a gain of 16.
This is great speed. It's a great changeup. It's really a glorified. It's not a reverse. It's almost a sweep. But to get his speed on the perimeter, as Mike, you said, this is their version of Teddy Ginn as a freshman.
And then Corey Hilliard, number 75, he got into the face of Simon Fraser and made him go back a little bit. That's why the play went well.
Very good producing touchdowns in the red zone. Donovan Woods. Ford Elliott never had a chance. Oklahoma State fans screaming for a pass interference call.
Mike, you mentioned that, you know, Oklahoma State's been in 45 times inside the 20, and they've scored 42 times, 34 touchdowns. That's as good as you can get. Now, I know this is crazy, but I'm telling you what, I would go 4 downs. I would not kick the field goal. I'd try to get a touchdown. If I didn't get it, Kirk, and Mike, I'd leave the football there, and hopefully my defense could.
You have to go for a touchdown. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
It's the best opportunity you had the entire game. You're down inside the 10. You've got to score a touchdown.
Try to get the timeout to avoid a substitution infraction, but the flag for the substitution infraction is already thrown, so they will back them up 5.
They're almost better off there. Save those timeouts.
Working the huddle, 12 players, 5-yard penalty, Maine, second down.
So no timeout, it will be second and goal. The number I was going to give you, Oklahoma State turnaround, 11 out of 12 losing seasons. Les Miles comes in, gets them with a turnaround 4-7 year, and then 8-5, 9-4, 7-4 here this year. The 9-4 season last year got them to the Cotton Bowl. They got to play on New Year's Day.
And how about being the only coach in college football that beat Bobby Stoops 2 times?
Not bad when it's not only the king of the conference, but your interstate war. Great rivalry.
Seymour Shaw, not Morency in the backfield here. From the 14. Shaw blocks, long toss, hauled in by Frazier. Great tackle by Dustin Fox. You remember his brother Derek, who played at Penn State in the Indianapolis Colts? He had a great game in the Alamo Bowl back here in 99. Dustin, a senior who broke his arm against Marshall earlier this year, has come back and really solidified this secondary for the Buckeyes.
And one of the captains of the football team. Very good leader back in the backfield. He's one of the 2 seniors on the defensive football team. This is a young Ohio State football team. Only 4 seniors on the entire starting units.
And Lee, as good a player as Dustin Fox has been in his career, better person. Wow. What a great, great kid. If you had a daughter, you'd want her to marry a Dustin Fox. 3rd and goal from the 6. Donovan Woods. Can somebody get free for him? He's in trouble. Threw it away. That didn't cross the line of scrimmage. Didn't cross the line of scrimmage as he threw it out of bounds. Let's see if they're going to call intentional grounding. The ball never got to the line. He was out of the pocket. Well, they say no grounding, and it's 4th down.
Well, now he's got to kick the field goal because he's so far back. But selection of plays is questionable in my mind. That fade on 1st down, Mike, I didn't like that call.
I still think you gotta try to get a touchdown. I know you need some points.
Jason Rich has been good, guys, inside the 30. He's 10 of 10 on his field goals. This true freshman out of Round Rock, Texas. A fake. There you go. The holder. Wogaboot. Quinn Pitcock and Anthony Schlegel chase down Wogaboot, the wide receiver who is the holder.
That's a defensive tackle. Showing some pretty good speed to get to the corner there.
And if I'm going to go for a touchdown, I'm not going to try to fake field goal. Sorry. Hello.
Pitcock 90.
The big fella.
6'3", 295, the sophomore. George Schlegel, Oklahoma State, still pointless. A little mariachi entertainment. right on one of those nice walks across the Riverwalk. If you've never been to San Antonio, it is a wonderful city to visit. Check out the Battle of the Alamo site back in 1836. Also a very vibrant area for tourists. Oklahoma State fans trying to make some noise down at this end, make it tough for the Buckeyes, who turned it over but didn't give up any points. And a 2-yard first down run for Lydell Ross. Justin Zwick, injured against Iowa October 16th, the last time he played, has come back and been very solid here tonight, even with a left hamstring, upper left hamstring that he tweaked in the first quarter.
Not only the numbers, Mike and Lee, but also just the way he's managed the game. To be off that long, to come back in, he's running a completely different style of offense compared to when he left the team. And now he's done a nice job of fitting in.
They showed man press back off a little bit on Ginn. Here is Zwick throwing to Ginn. It's incomplete. As they try to get to the 15. Paul Duran, the linebacker, pressured him there. Put a little more heat on the quarterback.
Thank you very much. That's the way to get after him.
They're coming after him.
Man, right?
Getting heat. You have to do something to try to get Justin Zwick out of rhythm. He's been a quarterback that from the very beginning. It was the third play of the game. He hit a touchdown pass to Gonzalez. Came up a little bit limp. Mike said a little bit of a tweak to the hamstring. I thought it might slow him down, maybe take him out of the game. He's been able to block that out and see the field. We've talked to Coach Tressel. I said, after all that time off, what's the thing that stands out to you about him physically, his abilities? He said his vision. He has a great awareness of the football field and making good decisions.
3rd and 8, corner blitz shown and coming. They're running, and Ross pushed it into the secondary. Lydell Ross to the 24-yard line. John Holland pulled them down. They'll run to the right, beat the corner blitz. Coming to the offense's left. 8-16.
Nice blocking up front. But this is a different Lydell Ross tonight, guys, running the football. He is running with great determination and passion. If you went back and watched the last 4 years of Ohio State football and watched Lydell Ross, from time to time, he's almost looked like 2 different players. Tonight, he's playing with a lot of enthusiasm and running with a lot of passion.
It's his last ball game.
That's right.
Maybe that's why.
Good manager of a big Bo Jackson fan. Breaks into the secondary and gets out by midfield for a first down. Gain of 56 yards on the play. An Oklahoma State player shaken up back behind the play.
Santonio Holmes seals this off to the inside, and it opened it up for Lydell Ross. But the moves here, I mean, it's just a quick little shake, and then the ability to get through that arm tackle and then get downfield.
Daniel McLemore, the player shaken up, ran into John Holland.
And I tell you what, Moss for 220 pounds makes a nice, boom, right to the outside. But Kirk called the play. San Antonio Holmes, the little guy, came in and sealed the inside and allowed Ross to break to the outside. You wonder why a guy gets that long run? It's usually a block by a receiver out there.
And for young receivers, I like to always talk about the young players that are out there, the one to score all the touchdowns, make the sacrifice and the effort to block downfield to help your running backs out, and then you'll get your chance to make a catch.
And Holmes and Ross are two players from that great state of Florida. Just thought I mentioned.
Lydell Ross has 9 carries and 73 yards as they continue to look at Daniel McLemore, the Oklahoma State corner. You know, guys, Lydell Ross only 11 carries and 33 yards in the last 5 games. He had 2 games where he did not play, involved in what was not an arrest, but an issue off campus that he was essentially put on the bench for a couple of games at Ohio State, and Ross had kind of drifted into the background. This was going to be his year coming in. In freshman year, Kirk, talked about it. He had a 124-yard game against Indiana. The only Ohio State freshman before him with 100 yards in a game, R.T. Griffin and Robert Smith. Big things were expected as McLemore
That's good to see.
Runs off under his own power.
And remember, Ross is elected captain of the offensive football team of the Buckeyes.
In 2002, the guy was slowed by injuries, and then Maurice Claret came in, beat him, and he kind of forgot about Lydell Ross for a while.
He's going out with a bang tonight, averaging 8 yards a carry.
Frustrating night for Donovan Woods of the Oklahoma State offense. It's in the hands of Teddy Ginn. Hold on. Here goes Teddy Ginn into the secondary, dancing to the 21-yard line. I don't work with him anymore, but I'm thinking of my friend Bill Raftery, who does college basketball with us. Because when a guy gets faked out, Raft talks about the lingerie. The guy gets faked out of his you-know-what. There's a lot of lingerie on the turf.
He just gets into the open field. It's like trying to describe Tiger Woods and how nice a golf swing he has. Yeah. Like, what do you say when Tiger Woods is doing his thing?
You just shut up and watch.
That's right. And this guy looks like he's playing EA Sports.
He does.
And he's going full speed. Everybody else is not even playing.
He's hitting that L1 button.
Is that what it is? L1?
L1, R1, circle, square. He's hitting them all.
Oh.
Brandon Joe on the carry to the 16-yard line. L1, LC, he would have no clue.
No. I say nothing.
No.
Vernon Grant on the tackle there. When Teddy Ginn gets it in the open field, it's like a touchdown's about to happen. Here's why. The guy at 40 touches, really in the second half of the season, scored 7 touchdowns. That little 17-yard run messes it all up. How about 6 over 50 yards?
And you know, you guys, we were a little bit kidding on, but you know, a game like this can really put him in a position where he's a Heisman candidate next year. The bowl games always do that.
Bowl games help individuals and teams for the following season in preseason rankings and momentum through spring football and into camp in August. For any team playing in these, what is perceived to be a second-tier bowl game, it's very important.
And remember one thing, Auburn is a perfect example of this year. Where you start means a lot to where you're going to get to the end, boy.
And how you play in a bowl game this year will affect
number 96
where you're going to be.
Offside, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You know, that's part of the comment with Auburn playing in the Nokia Sugar Bowl against Virginia Tech. One of the problems for them that USC and Oklahoma started the season 1-2 and ran the table. Auburn never had a chance to come in because Auburn started 18 in the poll. Very accurate. I don't know if you would have waited till mid-October to do your first poll, that SC and Oklahoma would not have been 1-2 no matter what. Well, it's a good point. I think it's moderately moot in this situation.
Because Auburn played 3 cream puffs in their first 3 weeks. They might have been 17th.
No, it would have been 17th.
Even if they were third, when were they going to pass USC?
Brandon Joe takes it out to the 5, the senior playing his final game as well. For this Ohio State team, if there's one position where they struggle, and you're just not used to it with Ohio State, it was the guy toting the rock, the guy carrying the ball. They've been very good with the combination of Joe and Ross getting it done here tonight.
2 areas this offense struggled early in the year. Remember, they lost a lot of great players over the course of the last couple of years. Continuity with the offensive line, and also great depth at wide receiver. They've improved so much in those areas that it's opened up the running game and allowed the offensive line to be able to control the line of scrimmage much easier.
First and goal for the Buckeyes. Zwick, Santonio holds. Did he catch it in time? No. Trying to haul it in, bang it, and body it with Andrew Alexander. Alexander's in because Daniel McLemore got hurt on this drive. And also earlier there was the Derek Williams injury. And the coverage back there with Grant as well.
It's good coverage, but it's a ball that Justin Zwick would like to have back. Give it a little air and try to throw it away from the defender to give your receiver a better chance. He just short-armed it just a little bit and allowed the defender to come right back in and deflect the ball away from Holmes.
Look who they got back at tailback.
And a quarterback.
I'm going to tell you, tailback.
It's the old single-wing tailback. Old school.
Johnny Major.
He might throw in.
No way. He's not going to throw.
Tirico to the house. Touchdown. Ohio State.
How about the little delay here? And just let the crease open up. There's Pops. He's ready. Just let this open up. And it just land. That's backyard football, guys. That's backyard football.
How about 94-yard drive to stick the dagger in? Wow! It's done. It's done. Wow, what a drive that was.
Mike Nugent on for the extra point. And the best Buckeye ever out of Centerville, Ohio. Bangs through the extra point. He's the all-time leading scorer. Don't look at me like that. Teddy Ginn Sr. very happy with good reason. But that's the shortest touchdown his son's ever had.
Yeah.
Measly 5 yards.
Still the average.
He already had 5 yards to go.
30-0. The Ohio State University. 30-0 Ohio State on top of Oklahoma State. 94 lead, all on the ground. The Buckeyes have pushed the rushing yard total up to 177.
That was what you call a major league drive, old Ohio State Buckeye style. I know they did that to me 100 times.
Except with a little spice of number 7 mixed in with it.
Mike Nugent touchback. Once again, Mastercard Alamo Bowl. He's a freshman in his first year, but Ted Ginn will be one of those guys that they may be worshiping in Buckeye land for a while to come.
ESPN's presentation of the 2004 MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Brought to you by Jeep. Trail-rated capability. Don't go off-road without it. City. Proud sponsor of the 2005 Rose Bowl. New Year's Day on ABC. And Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Our producer tonight in San Antonio, Bo Garrett, our director, Mike Schwab. They were lounging on the Riverwalk as the week was going on here in San Antonio. That's not true. Our guys will be, and a lot of our crew will be heading off to Memphis for Friday in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Just the 12th of 20 bowl games on ESPN and ESPN2 here this season. The shovel pass to Prentice Elliott. He takes it out to the 25-yard line. Pick up of 5 yards. Well, that AutoZone Liberty Bowl, part of a full day on Capital One Bowl Week on Friday. Boise State and Louisville, the two scoringest teams on the planet. And then Brock Berlin gets to see Florida one more time. Florida takes on Miami in the Filet Peach Bowl. You'll see them on ESPN on Friday.
Interesting talking to defensive coordinators in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Taking great offense to the assumption that it's going to be a shootout.
2nd and 5, Donovan Woods in trouble, gets it away, and the pass is incomplete. The pass rushed from Jay Richardson, the sophomore out of Dublin, Ohio. Scioto High School, penalty marker down. Well, Stefan LaForce is one of those quarterbacks that's making the defensive coordinator for Boise State not sleep very well here tonight and tomorrow night.
5 straight games he scored over 50. The first time in the history of college football for a football team to score 5 straight games with over 50.
And you don't understand that pass efficiency rating because it's hard to explain. Here's what I'll tell you. That's as good as it's been.
Ever.
In a season. Yeah.
Pretty good.
What I think is interesting about Louisville's offense is LaForce and Ragone before that. The quarterbacks, of course, are going to get the attention. But this year, Louisville runs the football as well as anybody when it comes to the backs that they have. All 3 of their backs are 245 to 250 pounds, and they run through you, and that sets everything up for LaForce.
As you know, 32 years ago or 34 years ago, I was a coach there. This is the best offensive football team the University of Louisville has ever had, by far.
2nd and 15, Donovan Woods after the 5-yard flag, incomplete. Try to throw it in there to his brother, DeJuan Woods. The best defensive team Louisville ever had. 1972, led by Tom Jackson. 90 points in 10 games. The #1 defensive team in the nation was at the University of Louisville. And Tom Jackson, our colleague at ESPN, was the leader of that team. I mentioned it also that we had 5 of the top 7 front guys played the National Football League on that football team, led by Tom Jackson. Talking about guys playing the National Football League. We got a number for you from the Ohio State title game when they played against Miami in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. That'll just blow your mind. Nothing. Absolutely nothing going on. Mike Gundy, the junior, comes up with what will be his 4th sack on the season. That's the first sack of the game.
They get a sack, and they're mixing up their looks, but the way they're dominating the line of scrimmage, once Oklahoma State gets into this kind of situation where they're in shotgun on 1st and 10, completely out of rhythm. They really don't know where to go. They don't know how to move the football when it comes to having to catch up.
What's the number of that guy back there?
Number 7. Here he's again. Cole Farden just gets it away. They went for the block, so there'll be not a lot of blocking for Ginn. Who's going to let it go? And it will be down at the 28-yard line. Long field for Justin Zwick and the Buckeyes, and we asked the quarterback of Ohio State about the special freshman, number 7.
I've been around football my whole life, and I've seen a lot of great players, but I mean, just to see how smooth, he runs and he just pulls away from people when he's taking the ball to the end zone. It's amazing to see that, and I think we're just going to see more and more things from him in the next few years.
And when Justin was the starting quarterback for the first dozen games of the season, Ted Ginn wasn't ready to be a wide receiver. So often, Lee and Kirk, we think about, we got great athletes. Just go run a fly pattern. Just like it's backyard football. There is so much more to understand. What if there's a check on the play? You're blocking responsibilities that you can't do that in this day and age of college football.
Even Calvin Johnson at Georgia Tech took some time to get comfortable with the route adjustments and recognition of coverage.
Pump and go for Ginn. Came back to the ball, and it's incomplete. Andrew Alexander really being tested here and did a very nice job on Ginn.
Beyond the production, you know what he does? I think he excites his teammates. I think his team feeds off of things like this, the potential of it. You just never give up on a play when he touches the football because you never know what's going to happen with that speed.
You remember the first touchdown of the game, he helped call by not even touching the football. By his presence, they doubled him and he would touchdown pass. And then Mike, how about the first 16-yard punt? Because he was back there. The guy is amazing, boy.
This is second down. And here's Maurice Hall on the toss. Takes it to the 28-yard line.
The thing that I think is going to be most exciting to watch with his development is his natural position. And on the field before the game, I talked to him about next year. And if you could have a choice in a perfect world, where would you play? Corner, receiver? And he wants to play both, like his dad said with Jill. But I think he's a natural corner. I think he's a natural corner that'll play some receiver. Remember Chris Gamble at Ohio State the last couple of years? They played him at corner. He kind of developed into that role, a shutdown corner, sprinkled in at receiver. I think that's the future of Ted Ginn Jr.
Same number.
Yeah, that's right.
3rd and 8. Zwick to Ginn.
And see, that's a great example of where he's improved as a receiver in recognition of coverage and then sitting down and giving his quarterback a target and letting him throw it in there to make a play. When he, game 2, game 3, he doesn't make that play.
I know you might want to play him at corner, but let me tell you something. I play him on offense.
Both sides?
No, forget corner. You don't win many games with the corner. This guy can win almost every game he's in by touching the football offensively and returning punts.
I think you got to get him in shape and see if he can just try to go both ways. Hey, Mike, he told you something interesting. He's a hurdler, and he talked about how hurdling over the years has helped him with change of direction and maybe helps him with corner as much as anything else.
Here he is in action. He is, as Kirk mentioned, world-class speed. Almost qualified for the Olympic trials. One of the differences in hurdling is that the hurdles are 3 inches taller at the Olympics than at the high school level. A slight adjustment, but look at him in a track uniform.
You know what thing amazed me there? He didn't knock over a single hurdle.
He didn't touch one.
He didn't touch it. That, to me, was the first thing I saw is, woo.
He will run track at Ohio State this year. Maurice Hall, the back with the carry out to the 40-yard line. And Kirk, he said that, I said running hurdles, you have to be so precise with your steps. If you listen to the great hurdlers, or Edwin Moses talk about the 400-meter, the precision of the steps. I figured it would play into the precision of a wide receiver and running routes. He said it actually is better fit for defense because hurdles require great hips. And defensive backs with great hips are the best defensive backs.
No question about it.
Yeah,
I think, Lee, your point about you don't win the game at corner, I know what you're saying. I think you get him in on offense enough where you get him those touches. You come up with 20 or 25 plays where he's going to get a chance to touch the football. But you put him and Ashton Yabodi as corners next year for Ohio State. I think you do win football games with corners like that.
Zwick had a scramble. He was pressured by Paul Duran, the junior out of Del City, Oklahoma. Just a terrific playmaker there on defense.
Let me give you my side of the story. If I was coaching them, I'd go over to Norm Chow in Southern California, and I say, Norm, give me those 150 plays that you've gotten from the pros on how to get the ball to Reggie Bush. And then I would do that with that number 7 right there. The guy is an amazing offensive football player that can change around this game, which he has, I might add, on offense. Sure.
30-0, Ohio State leading Oklahoma State. Buckeyes scored 13 in the first, 10 in the second. Get up at the top of your screen. 3rd and 7. Zwick looks that way. High on the hitch. Incomplete. And Oklahoma State's defense, after the 94-yard touchdown drive, will force the Buckeyes to punt.
I think Oklahoma State's had about enough. They've had about enough, and they're going to make sure Teddy Ginn, whether he has the football or not, feels their presence.
Jamar Ransom with the reminder. And Kyle Toronto sent to kick to the player that Oklahoma State's coaches were effusive in the praise of, Prentice Elliott. A returnable kick. Maybe we'll see Elliott on the move. Oh, his own man ran right into it. Nothing he could do as he was trying to read the play. Ohio State's Antonio Smith there in coverage to help make the tackle for the Buckeyes. 4:10 left in the 3rd. We'll look ahead to the Bowl Championship Series. The 4 games that are getting ever closer. The one out of Miami on Tuesday the 4th. With Jill Arrington, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, Mike Tirico. Glad you're back with us here in San Antonio, Texas. 12th playing of the MasterCard Alamo Bowl and the 10th anniversary of the Big Ten and the Big 12. It's been all Big Ten here tonight. Last year we saw Nebraska beat Michigan State. In the 10 years that it's been Big Ten against Big 12, the Big Ten has won 6 of the 9 meetings. 25-second clock reset by the Mountain West Conference officials. A very tough night for Les Miles' team, which has had another successful season at 7-4. Donovan Woods, the quarterback, on the first down carry. Nowhere to run for Warrington. Well, the Bowl Championship Series bowl matchups as we get closer. All the games on ABC, exclusively on ESPN Radio as well. In Michigan and Texas, and Pittsburgh and Utah on the 1st, and on the 3rd in New Orleans on Monday night, Virginia Tech and Auburn, and then the BCS title game down in South Florida, Oklahoma and USC. And all the teams have arrived, are in position, and they're practicing, and the press conferences have begun at all 4 sites. After the Morency run of 2, Woods throws complete to his tight end, Billy Badgela, right out at midfield. 3-year starter, high school quarterback, Billy Badgela, gain of 24.
The tight ends, most of this season, have been a big factor in this offense, usually in run blocking, then setting up and going to play action. They've had a hard time tonight getting off of the line of scrimmage against Bobby Carpenter. That time, great execution by Donovan Woods to make the nice throw to his tight end.
Is a National Football Foundation student athlete. He's a pre-med and business major. Great football player, but a wonderful student also.
$18,000 postgraduate scholarship. Blitz by A.J. Hawk sends Donovan Woods down, and he is shaken up. Dominant linebacker for the Buckeyes. You know, some of the other great linebackers in the country are better physical specimens in terms of these sleek-looking, long athletes. But Hawk gets to every play, and the Woods parents are concerned about their youngest son, Donovan, who was shaken up.
You were telling me a story about A.J. Hawks from Centerville. You were telling me a story, and I couldn't believe that he was the last recruit signed by Ohio State.
Yeah, it was the year Ohio State were able to sign Mike DeAndrea, Bobby Carpenter. They were looking at Buster Davis out of Florida, who ended up going to Florida State. And I think once he ended up going to Florida State, A.J. Hawk that year was one of the last guys to sign with Ohio State.
Good to see Donovan Woods walk off under his own power. Hopefully just the wind knocked out of him as A.J. Hawk flies in from the quarterback's left.
He's going to come from the outside and come right in. The offensive line and the running backs, it's one of those things where you have to recognize that, and it took the tackle a little bit too much time. Hilliard just couldn't get out there, and the speed, that gives you an idea of the speed there of A.J. Hawk coming on a blitz.
But you know, this is great call by Mark Snyder. They want the shutout. The great football teams want shutouts, and that's why he blitzed against a team with 30-0.
So Al Pena, redshirt freshman out of Texas, comes in. Pena has to scramble away from Marcus Green, put one up for grabs, and it's incomplete. Pena, 7 of 10 throwing this season, was a combo quarterback in high school, graduated in January of 2003, and started out at Georgia Tech. And as you see, came over to Oklahoma State, played in the Texas Tech and Iowa State games, gets a snap here, and now Donovan Woods will go back in.
You see that Woods is okay and back. Look at Donovan Woods as a freshman. You assume that probably going to be a 4-year starter. It's going to be interesting in the spring with Bobby Reed, who's a true freshman, who next year hopes to compete with Donovan Woods to take that starting job away from Donovan Woods.
That is interesting. You get a freshman who starts all 12 games, and you think, oh, we're set there for a while. As Reed gets pretty good. Hawk again. Frazier hits him in the mouth, and the pass was incomplete. I mean, Donovan Woods is thinking, come on.
Come on. I mean,
help me out.
If you're a National Football League scout and you're here or you're watching, will you please circle my man? Will you please, Kirk? I want you to watch this guy's speed at 6'6", 280. Watch it quickness come off the ball. He makes a little twist, but watch him. Boom! He's always been my favorite since he's first started to play. And I tell you what, he should have got a penalty.
Yeah, I was going to say, lucky he didn't get called for 15 yards.
Should have been a penalty. But still, I'd sure love to have that guy on my football team.
Cole Farden kicks it. Beautiful kick by Farden.
Do it right there.
Out of bounds at the 3. 2:39 left here in the third. Tomorrow night, Capital One Bowl week continues out in San Diego, America's finest city with one of America's finest teams. The Cal Bears taking on Texas Tech. Cumbie, we've thrown it all over for Mike Leach's team. Aaron Rodgers, an outstanding season. J.J. Arrington, a terrific running back this year. Game's also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Your cable operator, DirecTV, the Dish Network, they've got the info on hooking you up with that. If you got a new big old HD TV for Christmas. Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. Beautiful San Diego. Although it has rained a lot in Southern California, looks like the weather's not going to be inclement for the game tomorrow, because that could really impact two very good offenses. Maurice Hall, the carry to the 4. Gain of 1.
Justin Zwick has played well tonight after that long layoff. A lot of people wondered how he would play. Jared Zwick, who is the brother of Justin, played for Jim Tressel at Youngstown State. He won a national championship in 1997. He played 98, 99, had a great career. You know, Justin said that a relationship with his brother through those tough times when Troy Smith took the job over helped him stay positive as much as anything. And it's a very unique relationship with his brother. And the fact that his brother has experience with Jim Tressel, I think, really helped Justin Zwick out.
Lionel Ross the carry. Robert Jones along for the ride. And Ross does some hard running here to get out to the 14-yard line. You know, Lionel Ross is having a very productive game. He's been running hard tonight. It's his last game, senior. He's also doing it with a heavy heart. I don't know if you saw the story of the young man, Vanderbilt running back, Quane Duster, who was killed in a shooting in his home of Tampa, Florida. Lionel Ross, very good friends with Quane. They went up against each other back in Little League baseball and high school football. They were some of the best players in their area. And Lionel, certainly with a heavy heart, he's going to be heading back to his hometown of Tampa for Quane's funeral coming up on Friday. Young man was out with some friends back at home during the Christmas break. He was shot as he was in a car with a friend.
You hear the story of that was that they were at a restaurant and they were arguing who had the best car. And the guys left, and all of a sudden the other car came up and boom, 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 and the guy was dead. I mean, you just never know, Kirk.
It's
Jeez.
Awful story, and Coach Tressel let us know how close Lydell Ross was to the young man, and he said, if we played on January 1st, chances are Lydell Ross is back home and probably in that car.
Ross with the carry over the 30-yard line. Then Lydell was telling me before the banquet yesterday how special Quane was in his life, and there will certainly be thoughts of Quane as he headed out on the field here this evening. Second largest crowd in the history of the MasterCard Alamo Bowl, 65,265. Many of the folks wearing orange have headed to the Riverwalk. They're going to those dueling piano places to kind of burn off some of their disappointment of this season, of this bowl game, as Teddy Ginn and the Buckeyes have dominated, leading 30-0 here in the final stages of this third quarter. Now, Oklahoma State took a timeout here, guys. We started to talk about it. We'll have some time in the fourth to discuss it as well. The BCS games. Where do you want to start?
My favorite is the Rose Bowl, presented by City. Did you get that? Presented by City. Texas against Michigan. And that Vincent Young, I'm telling you, he's a terrific player. And Michigan has been beaten by a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Vincent Young could be by Pontiac game changer.
Wow.
I'm getting all the plugs in.
Yeah, sure are.
And this would be a terrific football game to watch, Texas versus Michigan.
I'm looking forward to seeing those two teams on the same field together in the beautiful setting of Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. I'm looking forward to the Nokia Sugar Bowl. Obviously a national championship, but the Nokia Sugar Bowl, all the hype about Auburn, they deserve a championship. They deserve a shot at the national title. Talking to Carlos Rogers at some of these awards, I think their team, I think they will show up focused. I think there is a lot of incentive there, despite being left out, and they're playing a great team, a team that maybe finished as hot as anybody in the country with Frank Beamer and Virginia Tech. That's going to be a great game. Mike, I know you'll be there.
Be there for the game on ABC on Monday night, the 3rd. I'll tell you, the Auburn Tigers know that Virginia Tech will be as good as anyone they've played this year. That says a lot when you've played Tennessee, beaten them twice, and played Georgia. But down on the plains here a couple of weeks ago, visiting with the Auburn players and coaches, they know what's ahead of them playing Virginia Tech. And
there's a lot of prestige playing in the Nokia Sugar Bowl.
Yep. I'll tell you this, it'll be the best defense that Auburn has seen all year. And I know they played against Alabama. I think Virginia Tech will be the best defense they've seen all year.
Give me 4 in the air, guys. Off we go to the fourth quarter. In the Ted Ginn Show, he has been sensational, finding the end zone, changing the game, leading the Buckeyes up 30 at the MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Back at the MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Stem Band in the Land. That's the name of the Ohio State band, and they play Hang On Sloopy. We're into a game in Columbus. It is one of the many fabulous traditions around this Ohio State football program. Buckeyes have won 764 games, 7 national titles, 29 Big Ten titles. This their 36th bowl appearance here tonight. Teddy Ginn, nowhere to run, spinning, circling, losing his own players. Got a block from Zwick, got another block. That is the most exciting loss of 2 we've seen all year. He is a video game. He is a video game.
What did you say that?
EA Sports. That's
the L1 button.
The L1. That time, I don't know if he had to hit the turbo button that time. I don't know if the L1 would have helped him. That's the turbo. That's the circle button right there. All right. Now you got to cut back. Now you need the turbo button.
Let's switch.
Hit X.
Oh! All right. He stood up over the eye. Wow. Grant Jones.
That was the highlight. Can we get another shot? Is he going to block?
You know the Buckeyes
hit somebody.
The Buckeyes are just wearing them out. They've had 133 yards and 15 carries in the third quarter. That's 9 per snap.
This is 3rd and 11, and Zwick will throw. Man Childress, did he stay in bounds? Yes, he did. Childress with the catch, and the senior, who's been a little disappointing this year. It's the first down.
I just want you to watch. I know Teddy again, Teddy again, Teddy again. All right, let's watch number 12, the quarterback, the guy with the hurt hamstring who's trying to show his players he wants his job next year. Right there, boom, right in the middle of the screen. There it is again.
Kirk, watch him look down at him like, come on, sweetheart, give you some more of this.
That was Marquis Fountain, the top tackling defensive lineman for the Cowboys that he knocked down.
Oh, my gosh.
First and 10 from the 42. Zwick's throw is deflected and incomplete. Good play by Lawrence Pinson. He's been very active here tonight. At his high school there in Jenks, Oklahoma, he was part of a 6th straight 6A title, one of the great high school traditions in a terrific football state of Oklahoma.
A lot of great players come out of Jenks. Most of them either go to Oklahoma or Oklahoma State.
We have a player down on the turf, Robert Jones. Could perhaps be cramping. It is very humid here in the dome. Cramps become an issue.
Interesting dilemma for Jim Tressel as he gets ready for next year. Lee and I, and like you, we talked about next year. They'll use this bowl game possibly as a springboard into next year. So many players coming back for this team next year. Who's the quarterback? Oh, who will be the quarterback?
Wait, come on. The guy that set the all-time world record against Michigan. It's a world record against Michigan. More yards, total offense against Michigan than any other man that's ever lived.
When you throw Troy Smith's ability to throw it with his ability to run it, it's with Teddy Ginn, Santonio Holmes, and Todd Beckman is the wild card in the race by the time spring football comes around. You watch him throw, you listen to the coaches behind the scenes. He's from the same high school as Bobby Hoying, and he has a great chance to also win that job. But I hear what you're saying. I like the creativity.
You're a quarterback at Ohio State. How would you like to have the all-time world's record of most yardage ever against the Big Blue and have somebody say you ain't going to be the quarterback?
I'm just telling you, it's going to be an interesting dilemma for the coaches.
Smith, if you're listening, just get yourself squared away in school. Say yes, sir, no, sir. Keep your mouth shut and get back on this football team because you're going to have a great team next year.
Oh, yeah.
Again, if you didn't catch it, Troy Smith is suspended because of getting improper aid from a booster who owns a suite at Ohio State, a third of a suite, and the program, I think, once the investigation has gone through, will in all likelihood disassociate itself with the booster. That's what usually happens in cases like that. Smith is suspended because it is what is called a secondary violation of the NCAA rules. You're usually suspended for 20% of your competitive season. That gets rounded down, so it would normally be a 2-game suspension. Ohio State can appeal to try to make it a 1-game suspension. As the whole process goes, that will take some time. In any case, the likelihood is if Smith stays in shape academically and Smith repays the money that was involved, then he will be suspended for this game, probably the opener against Miami of Ohio, and then be eligible. But he certainly can practice during the spring and during the summer, leading up to the start of the season in September. Santonio Holmes with the catch. First down at the 45. I mentioned Miami of Ohio. Congratulations to Shane Montgomery, who will be, unless somebody else is hired, the youngest head coach in Division 1A, replacing Terry Hepner as Terry is heading to Miami of Ohio. SportsCenter's on the way as soon as we're done. More on Ohio State situation we were talking about. The Kyle Turley, Mike Martz interesting story continues. Is that Nick Bakai's best? All right, I'll stay tuned for that on SportsCenter after the game.
All that great stuff, and now there's a thorough understanding. Lee's made it clear he thinks it's going to be Troy Smith. All I'm telling you is there's a reason number 12 started when camp broke. When he had a chance, Coach Tressel, as you've watched with Craig Krenzel, and now you've watched with Justin Zwick, he likes a quarterback that he knows it's going to be A, B, or C. And even though Troy Smith, I agree with you, Lee, has that creativity, I think that in a perfect world, they also like a systematic quarterback.
Ted Ginn with the reception here.
Just again, the area that he's grown the most. He's trying to just settle in, make a throw.
Look at the hands of that guy. Kirk, don't play him on defense. Please, watch this. Please.
Play him on defense and
I think he might have been out of bounds there.
Hands were there.
Man.
Hasn't been a factor special teams-wise, but been outstanding. Maybe he was in bad time. from the 32. Zwick to Santonio Holmes. Out of bounds at the 21. Andrew Alexander takes him out. We talked about Teddy Ginn earlier in the story that when his dad, who we saw, Ted Ginn Sr., an excellent high school coach in Ohio, and he would throw balls to his son when he was 4 or his 5. And if he dropped a couple, he was like, no, that's it, you're done for the day. You can't drop a ball. We were talking to Teddy, and for as great a explosive player as he is, the quietest kid. I mean, I had to really sit up close just to hear what he was saying. He's kind of whispers. Yeah. He's very low, confident, but extraordinarily low-key about it when talking about these things. But the dad developed the hands by throwing and throwing and throwing to his kid. The 31 to Anthony Gonzalez. Incomplete. I said, Teddy, was it a big football at age 4? No, it was a smaller ball, but we went to the big football pretty quick. And those great hands pay off on plays like this one.
You get so caught up in the speed that you sometimes forget that he has the best set of hands.
Well, I tell you one thing, he can have nice hands, but God gave him that speed. I don't know, he could throw all the balls you want at the kid. God, someplace up there went.
God gave him a lot of things.
Boom! That unbelievable speed, boy.
14th play of the drive here. This drive started way back at the 2-yard line. The guys rolling downfield here, and a whistle. Timeout called? We did. Solo timeout with 12:20 remaining in regulation. 30-0 the Buckeyes. We'll be right back. During the timeout, look at Teddy Ginn. We've been showing so much of him. Quarterback. Leading cheers. We have any Ohio State cheerleaders we can get in touch with, find out if that was good technique or not?
I know one that's probably asleep.
From the 21, it's 2nd and 10 as we come back out of it. There's Brutus. Yeah. We've got a mascot matchup here tonight. That is the all-time big-headed mascot matchup.
I'm trying to get Lee to get that big cowboy head on one of these.
From the 21, Zwick to Ginn to the 14-yard line. Pistol Pete has been very quiet here tonight. I haven't seen much of the Oklahoma. There's Pistol Pete. Look at that big melon.
I mean, think about that. Chelsea, I tried to talk him into it when we went to Stillwater.
Yeah. Well, they were playing Oklahoma. You think I'm crazy?
Almost did it.
But I
sure did.
Yeah, I tell you what, they did.
It's been a tough 24 hours for Pistol Pete and the Cowboy fans. On ESPN2 last night, Gonzaga. Mark Few just keeps that program going. Gonzaga beating Oklahoma State. These are some terrific fans over in Stillwater. Many of them made the trip over for the Final Four in this building last year. Connecticut walked away with the title. Direct snap to Ginn. Pulled down at the 20. Jerry Don Gray made the play. Moved in 2003 from defensive tackle to end with a couple of starts at a Chickasha, Oklahoma. And we're going to see Mike Nugent on for what could be his final kick as a Buckeye. Nugent, the consensus All-American kicker, most valuable player of this team. Groza Award winner. 353 points. He's passed Pete Johnson tonight, the all-time leading Ohio State scorer. .356.
Wow,
what the record will land.
Is he aiming for the pole in the middle?
He's right in the middle.
He's good with Arena League. I mean, Arena League goalposts.
He's an athlete, too.
He played quarterback in high school.
Did he play? Where did he go to high school?
He went to Centerville. He's ran the option attack. That's why he's an athlete. He's not a head case.
Not the only Centerville guy in this building tonight. We'll talk more about that when we come back. Buckeyes up 33-0. Little to cheer for the Cowboys here tonight in the MasterCard Alamo Bowl. A 33-0. That Mike Nugent field goal. 72. That's the most now in Big Ten history. Dan Nystrom of Minnesota had 71. And Josh Houston will get his second opportunity to kick off, 50-year senior out of Findlay, Ohio. And he cranks out a touchback as well. Well, we were kind of joking around with Kirk before. His high school, Centerville High School in Ohio, has produced some very good players over the years. A couple of pretty darn good ones and important ones of this Ohio State team. A.J. Hawk, his typical dominant self, and Mike Nugent, who's been perfect for field goals, 3 extra points, set the all-time Ohio State scoring record. The Lou Groza Award winner. The all-time leading scorer, passing pretty awesome running back in Pete Johnson. Big, physical back. Scored so many touchdowns.
He knows about Pete.
He set half those records against Indiana when I was coaching. He did. I'll tell you, I've never seen a guy.
He's like, no, seriously. He did.
I'm serious.
Donovan Woods, first down for Oklahoma State. He's scrambling out of the pocket. Nice run by Woods. Takes it out to the 48-yard line. We're talking at Centerville High School, and I see a running quarterback, Lee. It reminds me of only one thing.
Ooh, look at him.
Oh, my God.
Look at him.
You're killing me. Who did that one?
Oh, man.
I didn't do a very good job on my Christmas shopping list, but while I was shopping, I called our producer, Bo Garrett, and we got to find a high school picture of Herbie, because I haven't. I've seen the Sunshine Scooter with the flag looking good.
Yeah, Scooter with the jet black.
Boy.
How about that in '89? See, here's the problem, Lee. He looks exactly the same. 15 years. He actually. We'll go back to the picture in a second.
Yeah.
Here's first down here is Woods. Flipping.
I think the only difference.
I think he actually looks younger now.
He does.
I look younger now.
He got the hair tightened up a little
the
more.
helmet head going
But
there
you know
a
what?
little bit.
He has a little bit different color hair now.
Notice the hair.
Yeah,
Notice how tight the hair is back in the old days, Centerville days, compared to today with the way these guys are growing. How about with A.J. Hawk growing his hair?
I know.
You're not getting out of this.
He was a tough-looking kid, too, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, you know, see, this guy's got
there you go.
Santa hair there.
There's Santa.
That's fun. So there's another kid on the Ohio State team from Centerville, Brett Ullery, who's a sophomore. His dad is the coach, correct?
Head coach. Ron Ullery.
2nd and 7 for Donovan Woods and the Cowboys. Complete to his brother Dewan. Inside the 30, and a first down, a gain of 19. More on Mike Nugent now with Jim.
I had an opportunity to talk with him at the luncheon yesterday, and I was so impressed with him and other Ohio State players. And with Mike Nugent, all of the teammates love him, and he's a kicker. But the reason they love him is because he's on the field. After practicing kicking, he goes and practices with the team on offense, on defense, catching balls for the quarterback. But the Buckeye fans love him. They chant Nuge when he takes the field. The teammates love him. He's one of the captains. Very impressed with this guy, and he has such a future at the next level, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. From the 30 here is Woods taking off again. Nice moves by Donovan Woods. The Buckeyes have never had a shutout in a bowl game in Oklahoma State. Trying to keep it that way here inside the 9-minute mark.
That's such an important factor with place kickers, in my opinion, punters. Guys who are involved, lifting weights, running, showing the rest of the team that they're willing to sacrifice as well. So there are a lot of kickers who do their drills at the beginning of practice, and then they go inside, and they're done. They stand around and watch practice. Nugent is heavily involved, and I think that's a smart decision for any kicker, because then there's not as much pressure when the game-winning kick is on the line.
You're part of the team.
You're part of the group.
On the reverse in the hands of Prentice Elliott. Tackled at the 13 by Bobby Carpenter. Part of that linebacking core. You guys brought up Mike DeAndrea earlier. He was the top linebacker in the nation coming out of high school. Mike injured his knee and has been out the second half here in this 2004 season.
Talking to him, it sounds like his rehab is going very well, and he expects to be back full speed next year.
On our way to Sports Center, it's 2nd and 4. Cowboys trying to get on the board here in the 4th. Woods goes to the one receiver side. Dustin Fox had the coverage on Saron Mack.
You know, just looking at this Ohio State team, Kirk and I were talking off camera before. The last time I saw this kind of intensity with 33-0 was with the Oklahoma team. Right. Remember we had them, and they just feel like they got to have a shutout. I'm telling you, they got to have a shutout. Mark Snyder's doing a good job because it's a tempo and an attitude.
I think it's a pride factor, too.
Yeah.
There's a look at Mark Snyder, the defensive coordinator.
Shutout.
I mean, that's why the first teamers are in there, and you just watching Bobby Carpenter. He's going back to the Ohio State fans, kind of fire him up.
That's like you said.
Oklahoma's the first place I saw like this. And they built a national championship team.
This is 3rd and 4 for the first down. Woods hit as he threw. It's complete. They'll have it first and goal. That's the fullback, Sean Willis. Bench is 500 pounds, a hard-to-tackle guy.
Yeah. Boy, I love Sean Willis.
This was Carpenter pre-play. Trying to get him juiced up, but still the Cowboys respond with the 4th pass catch of the year by Sean Willis.
I like Sean Willis because he's asked to do so much at 260 pounds and be a big blocker for Hornsey, but they also give Les Miles a lot of credit and Mike Gundy. They get him involved. They've done a good job. Mike, he runs a 4.5 40 to be 260 pounds and bench press over 500 pounds. A special athlete at fullback. There it is.
And feed the big man. It gets into the end zone for the Cowboys' first touchdown of the night.
It's great to see a guy who sacrifices his body 90% of the game. Every once in a while, get an opportunity. And when they get inside that 10-yard line, chances are you're going to either see the belly play, give it to Willis, or the belly option where Woods will take it down and try to score off the edge. That time, the fullback took it into the end zone.
Mark Snyder's got a kind of a disgusted look on his face. He wanted that shutout. But still, it was a great effort defensively tonight by the Buckeyes.
Really scrambling at Donovan Woods. Yeah. A lot of the plays, a lot of the yardage on that drive.
Jason Ricks hangs home the extra point. Oklahoma State on the board. Not an empty trip to the Alamo.
Tonight on SportsCenter, can the Buckeyes boost their program after the latest blow? How the Yankees are working to get the big unit to the Big Apple, and find out LeBron's latest milestone on SportsCenter after the game.
Stop, my sides hurt.
And then the doctor said, I'm going to hook you with the bill.
No, he didn't. You made that up.
Yeah, he did.
I think I can hear my teeth.
Fitness Made Simple is reshaping bodies and changing lives with our best-selling videos, hosted by fitness celebrity John Bastow.
Unlike all the quick fix pills, potions, and gadgets that reduce our wallets more than our waistlines, Fitness Made Simple is real, and it delivers real results.
It really works.
I start and end my day with Fitness Made Simple. I de-stress with John, and all the problems of the day just melt away. It works for me.
A lean muscle sculpting workout, a fat-burning meal plan, all in this easy-to-follow video.
That was me 70 pounds ago. This is me now, thanks to the Fitness Made Simple program.
It's amazing how fast it works.
Personally, the results I've gained, I simply can't put a price on.
Fitness Made Simple works. It worked for me, it's working for thousands of men and women nationwide, and it can work for you too.
Order today and get the original Fitness Made Simple exercise and nutrition video, plus John's popular Awesome Hour home workout as a special bonus. That's 2 videos for the price of 1. Call now.
Be your best with Fitness Made Simple.
Now, ESPN's presentation of the 2004 MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And in part by the next Ford Super Duty. Tougher, stronger, smarter.
Thanks to Derek Fox and the rest of the folks who run the MasterCard Alamo Bowl for their hospitality here this year. 7-4 teams meeting, and 33-7 one-sided with Ohio State, but Sean Willis's 9th career rushing touchdown has put Oklahoma State on the board. Stu and Ravi standing by for SportsCenter. Little sky kick is fair, caught by Santonio Holmes, and Ohio State will take over at its own 32-yard line. Well, I mentioned this is the first foray into the bowl season for the Big Ten. Here are the other games. We talked about that doubleheader, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl with Boise and Louisville, followed by the Miami-Florida game in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The Minnesota-Alabama game is the first of that triple header, and that will be a terrific game with a great running team against a fabulous running defense. And there you see Purdue, Arizona State down in Texas, The Outback Bowl after game day on New Year's morning, Wisconsin and Georgia. The Capital One Bowl down in Orlando with LSU, and then, of course, Michigan, Texas in the Rose Bowl presented by City.
No matter what people say about the BCS, taking the importance away from some of these bowl games, I still think it's a factor when you get Big Ten SEC and Pac-10 Big 12, and you have all these conferences competing against each other in games that matter, and there's a lot of conference pride on the line, and I just love to watch those kind of games.
That was the first carry for Antonio Pittman, by the way, the leading rusher yardage-wise this season for the Buckeyes.
A game like Minnesota-Alabama, and I like that matchup. You know, I just think it's exciting to see, and I think the players realize that there's a lot of bragging rights on the line there.
That's the first of the 3 Big Ten SEC matchups, and the big BCS leagues, with no disrespect to the WAC and the Mountain West, leagues that have played well in bowls here this week. When these big leagues get together, because we don't see it as much in the regular season, it's a lot of fun for the fans. Pittman a loss of 2 on that play.
It's unfortunate that athletic directors are getting away from those great intersectional matchups in September. Great matchups in September are far and few between. I mean, you look next year, here's the other bowl games.
What do you like there, Lee? Those games?
I tell you what, that Wisconsin-Georgia game could be exciting in the Outback Bowl in Tampa. And the reason I say that is because Wisconsin is a 7-point underdog, but I think they're a little bit better defensively than other people think. And remember, LSU's Nick Saban's gone. That could be a factor right there at LSU against Iowa.
He will coach the game.
Yeah,
I think the Big Ten has their hands full in those games. I think there's maybe a game or 2 that they can win. I think they'll struggle in those games, yeah.
Ryan Hamby with the catch, stopped at the 35, and the Buckeyes are going to kick it away. We're going to look at the Big Ten bowls on the other side of this punt, and our Big 12, I beg your pardon, and see what's ahead for the league that has gotten 2 into the bowl championship series. Texas getting in. We saw them play Michigan. Mac Brown, congratulations to Mac. That contract, 10 years, $25 million.
Is he off the hot seat yet? For all those great discussions we had back in September.
He just bought the seat.
Yeah, he did. He bronzed it.
Naming rights, the whole deal.
Whatever seat he wanted.
Good for him. After everything he's been through in Austin, good for him.
Toronto, the kicker, with a very high kick. And a tackle made back at the 15-yard line. Well, the Buckeye Band, the best damn band in the land, as they're known, 225 strong, and loud and proud here throughout this San Antonio evening, 33-7. Ohio State on its way to its 17th bowl win. They'll go to 27-3-1 all time against teams in the current Big 12. Donovan Woods from the 17 back to throw. Incomplete. Schwan Mack was the intended receiver. Stuart Scott, Carl Ravager standing by in the beautiful new digital center in Bristol. They'll have Sports Center coming up for you here in a little bit.
Well, today, you guys, I had an opportunity to go to Brooke Army Medical Center for the Commanding General's Purple Heart ceremony. It was one of the most touching times that I've ever had in my whole life. Brigadier General C. William Fox, the distinguished guest was Texas Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison. And I want to mention the names of these 4 Purple Heart recipients that I was actually there when they presented it. The Purple Heart. I'll talk to you after this play because it is really something. Oh, man.
What a hit on Greg Jones, who is rocked by Dante Whitner out of the same high school as Teddy Ginn.
These 4 Purple Heart recipients were Sergeant Christian Steele, Specialist Donald V. Larson, Specialist Donald Bergen, and Amanda Mohan. And the thing about it is, Mike, these 4 people were all injured on December 21st, 2004 in Mosul with that suicide bomber that walked in while they were having lunch.
Oh, I remember that. It was about a week, 8 days ago.
And listen, these people got them over here already, taken good care of them, and gave them Purple Hearts today. And I tell you what, that to me was unbelievable experience. I won't forget. I want to do one more thing. The Purple Heart is an American decoration, the oldest military.
Some of our wounded.
They also have a place called the Fisher House there. You know what it's like? It's based on Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
And after this kick, I'll tell you. Ooh.
Beautiful deep kick. And nowhere to go for Ashton Yabodi, the cornerback. The one bowl week are seen on Armed Forces Television, Armed Forces Network, and to our soldiers serving overseas. Our thoughts with you this holiday season. We're glad you can enjoy some football. Get your way from for a moment, a little bit closer to home. Down to the field, here's Jill.
Oh, one treat for me tonight was getting to see this Ohio State band perform in the pregame performance. They do something that's called Scripts Ohio, which is incredible. I've never seen it before. They actually form out the word Ohio, interlocking in and out as they move. It's very neat to see. It's a big honor for the sousaphone player who gets to dot the I. It's a very complex seniority system they get worked out in order for the honor for each performance. And tonight, Zach Woolley and Steve Fink, they got the opportunity tonight. There they are. There's the band. They did great tonight, guys.
Yeah, nothing like the dotting of Script Ohio at the end of the regiment. They're the sousaphone players who are honored. Rarely is someone who is not a member of the best damn band in the land honored to do it, but one very famous person has.
Woody Hayes.
I got another one for you.
Oh, I was there with Woody Hayes.
Richard Nixon or Bob Hope.
Bob Hope and Woody Hayes. Can you imagine that?
He's live.
Yeah, forget about it.
It's unbelievable. No. Sousaphone player, Script Ohio. Just once. It's one of the great traditions of sport. Michael DiMaria there with the caddy. Bench is getting emptied here in our closing moments. Guys, why don't you look ahead to me for Oklahoma State as they wrap up this 7-5 season. Certainly a disappointing way to close 2004 after opening 5-0. Losing 4 of their final 5 ball games, the only win being over Baylor.
Well, we talk about confidence and trying to get ready for next year, assuming Les Miles is the coach and assuming Vernon Morency decides to come back for his senior year. And look at the rest of the nucleus.
Will be back. Justin Zwick, part of the quarterback situation Kirk and Lee talked about earlier. Again, hadn't played in 10.5 weeks and was very good here tonight. And Teddy Ginn, 118 total yards, but an impact as well when he didn't touch the ball. Kicking away from him, coverage that was rolled to him. And when he got his hands on the ball, you see why everybody's goo-goo and gaga over Ginn.
Well, with Ravi coming up with Stu Scott, you're going to probably see more of this. And next year, you're going to see a ton of it. Lee and I think Mike, you would agree, he's going to be one of the Heisman guys early in the year. And it's because every time he touches the football, he's looking to take it to the end zone. And he's got the speed. And also, as we saw in person tonight, I think you have more of an appreciation for the burst along with the acceleration and the great breakaway speed. It's world-class speed that you're talking about. He's not a track star that happens to play football. He's a football star that happens to run track.
Toronto's last kick is a Buckeye in all likelihood. Is a good punt. That's a guy who had big shoes to fill with Andy Groom and B.J. Sander before him. He's done a nice job emerging here as the senior season has gone on. I told you earlier when he came into our meeting, he said Morency is the way Vernon's name has been pronounced most of the year. No matter what it was shut down. Number 33 in orange and black for Oklahoma State tonight. Their best offensive weapon, just 8 carries for 20 yards.
I agree.
Try to get Tressel with the Gatorade. I think Jim ducked out of there. Here is Woods out of the pocket, down the middle. The pass is deflected and incomplete. All right, let's take a peek at the Gatorade attempt. The coach Tressel's pretty sharp. He got out of the way.
Then they missed on round 2.
They try to get there, Coach. It's been a tough year for the Buckeyes, but the reason to smile here tonight. Lee, you are headed off to Miami to keep an eye on Chris Fowler, the mayor of South Beach, as you guys get set for College Game Day on New Year's morning. And Chris and I headed over to Memphis for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, so this is our last game of the season with the 3 of us together. It's been year 5 has been just as fun as the first 4 years. And Donovan Woods takes it out to the 18-yard line. One more shot. Last shot. Last shot. Oh, he turned around. The only thing more fun than the games is hanging out with you guys. It is an absolute treat and a pleasure, and it is some of the best times we've had. Thank you, bud. Safe trip over to Miami. Keep Fowler in line over there, will you?
Safe trip to Memphis, you guys.
You got it. The Ohio State Buckeyes win a bowl game for the 3rd consecutive time. They finally got a little piece of their coach. The seniors who will go out 3-1 in bowl games, 3-1 against Michigan, a winning record in their postseason game or their Michigan game. Something that has not been done by a group of Ohio State seniors since 1984. Ohio State 33, Oklahoma State 7. See you over on ESPN News for the post-game extra with Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, Jill Arrington, all the women and men of our ESPN team. Mike Tirico, thank you for watching this presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. There's a whole bunch of stuff on Capital One Bowl Week sitting over there online at ESPN.com. Sports Center with Carl Ravitch and Stuart Scott is next. Good night from San Antonio, and off we go to Sports Center.